see, stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on two separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on two separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound impossible to obtain in a monaural recording. Stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on two separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on two separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Last night was interesting. And in fact, as I look back over the past calendar year, the calendar year of 2019 has been crazy interesting. For me personally, for the things I'm doing now, but really even beyond that. Good morning to you. I know you can hear me now. I want to pot this up. Good morning to you. I think there's quite a lot to look back on, quite honestly. There really is. But I don't want to just look back today. I also want to look forward as well, because today is the last Friday, the last TGIF for the calendar year 2019. There's no more Fridays left. There's no more Thursdays left. There's no more Wednesdays left. Okay, the next time we have a Wednesday, a Thursday, or Friday, it will be in the new year 2020. What are your plans for the new year? Are you going to church? Are you going to the other church called the club? Are you going to be staying at home? Are you doing family stuff? Are you doing adult stuff? Because there is a difference. I would really like to know this morning, if by any chance this morning you would like to share your thoughts. You can do so pretty easily by simply calling the number 513-873-7134. Viva La Chapas. I wasn't with you yesterday, but I am with you today. We're going to rock it for a couple hours and kind of catch up. You know, I was thinking about the show, And this is the only daily digital show that focuses on the African American issues, focuses on what's happening, how politics impact, African Americans here in the greater Cincinnati area. For now, there will be others after us. But don't let anybody ever forget that we were the first ones. We make history every single day that we broadcast in the city of Cincinnati. And in some way, it's a reflection of the digital revolution that's happening all over the country. The revolution is here, it's now, and it's happening every single morning on the Nathan Ivey Show. Please share this show if you feel inclined to do so. If you're not sharing it, why not? I don't get it. Make that make sense for me. All right. Good morning. So I want to talk about numerous things. I want to look back and reflect. Personally, I want to look back and reflect and talk about the Nathan Ivey Show. And, sometimes you just do things. You know what I'm saying? You're in the middle of it. You're not really thinking about the significance of it or whatever. You're just in the middle of it. And that's how I kind of feel like the Nathan Ivey Show and what we're doing with Sin Digital Media. I was talking with somebody just last night, and they were saying good things about the show. And then it dawned on me all over again, like, wow, yeah, we are doing that. We are in that space. We are in that lane. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. 3 years after leaving commercial radio, the show is still relevant in a lot of ways. In all the ways that matters to a talk show, the Nathan Ivey Show is still relevant after 3 years on digital. And we're just doing it together. And it's been quite interesting. And along the way, I picked up partners. We're now producing more shows. It's quite interesting. It really is. But what does 2020 bring? What's the plan for 2020? I want to share with you just a little bit with you exclusively before anybody else in the greater Cincinnati area before now. And starting today, this is going to be a multi-day process. And we've got 4 days left, right? We've got today, we've got Monday, and we've got Tuesday. So we've got 3 days left in terms of doing the show because we don't broadcast on the weekend. This is the last weekend of 2020. The last weekend of 2020. What the fuck are you going to be doing this morning? Your children are not at school. They might be in daycare. They're not in school. They're at home today. Yes. Maybe some of you are off and you have young children who went to daycare today. I know you love that. That's like a Christmas gift to you on some levels. And your kids can be occupied in the way they normally are with their friends. Yes, but what are you going to do? I say recharge over the next couple of days. So many things to discuss. Where should we go? The time goes so fast. Just yesterday, the wife and I went over to a friend's birthday gathering. It's funny how over the years, people just, you get older. You mature. Things happen in your life. You have different professional responsibilities, right? You meet new people, right? It's quite interesting, man, the passage of time. But it's what makes life so sweet. So sweet. Good morning to you. Hold on. Listen, if you would like to join the Nathan Ivey Show, you are more than welcome. And again, you can join the show and your voice can be heard and amplified on the show by simply calling the number 513-873-7134. You can also jump into what we call the Chop Shop. It's our chat room, but we chop it up. So hence the name. And you can do so by going to nathanivey.com and clicking on, the title of today's show, and it'll take you straight to my Spreaker page. And once you do that, you just go down to the comment section and boom, there it is. You can start your account for free, put up an avatar, put up a name, and start interacting, with the choppers if you feel inclined to do so. That may not be you. I'm with you. Hey, do you? Good morning. How has your holiday, if it's been a holiday for you, how's the season been so far? How is it? Everything good? Everything bad? Everything in between? Is this story true? I read a story about a woman from Avondale that punched a woman in the face, or they punched a person repeatedly. I don't know if it's a male or female. I'm assuming it's a female because it's a female perpetrator. After this person wished her a Merry Christmas. So I guess she just had that mindset that black people can get sometime where it's kind of like, I wish I would, somebody would do something, fill in the blank, whatever it is. And if you got family and friends and your life has been relatively good, you forget the other side of that. There's people out there with no family, no friends, and some issues. They got mental health issues. Their Christmas, their holiday season is not going to be filled with warmness and kindness and food. How many people had a feast over the weekend? You had a feast? I see. I can see it from here. I can see it from here. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Love all the folks posting great things. Carolyn writes, enjoy your day off. Oh, okay. I appreciate that, Carolyn. Appreciate that. Yes. I want to talk about some of the biggest stories over the last year as well. Some of the biggest stories from the last year. Okay, from the year 2019. Personally, I want you to reflect as I deliver this flow. How was 2019 for you? When you went into 2019 from 2018 and you had all of your resolutions, I don't do resolutions, by the way. When you had your resolutions or your new plans, did you follow it? Because we say that shit at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, I don't know if we check back on that. Not so sure if we check back on that. I'm not really sure at all. She is beautiful. She is beautiful. Queen and Slim lead actress called bedwench over interracial marriage. It's the season for that right now. Some people will do that. Also, Cincinnati had the highest number of hate crimes in the state. I read this story on Christmas. Supposed to be important day. Cincinnati had the highest number of hate crimes that were reported in the state of Ohio. I like to know why. We're a nice, polite Midwestern Cincinnati where we just love black folks. We love all the folks here. So how is it that Cincinnati has more reported hate crimes than any place else in the state? Well, that's because Cincinnati's racism manifests itself in different ways. Okay. If you want to look at the racism in Cincinnati, look at the infant mortality rate. If you really want to get a sense of racism in Cincinnati, it's not necessarily walking like you're at the zoo for the Festival of Lights. That's not really how racism is necessarily going to manifest itself. If you really want to know, you got to check out that infant mortality rate. You got to check out the life expectancy per neighborhood and then look at the type of races and people that live in those neighborhoods. See, that'll start to tell you the story of Cincinnati. If you come to Cincinnati and you're just going through real quick, man, you're not going to feel any of that. Maybe, probably not. FBI statistics show 350 hate crimes statewide in Ohio. That seems pretty low. In 2018. Apparently, they talked to some folks over at the Islamic Center of Greater Cincinnati, and the quote was that, there's legitimate fear in the community for their freedom to practice their religion safely. Because people still have this Muslim resentment, right? I guess it's about 9/11, although the origins of 9/11, if we're going to be fair about it, and this may seem unpatriotic or cloudy, muddy at best. At worst, it was inside job. Quote, we feel for all groups marginalized. We understand we're going through the same thing. Wasn't there a family on the east side of town and somebody broke into their house and spray painted or permanent magic marker, swastikas and all kind of racist symbols? Didn't that really happen? That wasn't too long ago. At the Jewish Federation of Cincinnati, cameras, a series of locked doors and armed securities guarding the building. Is that right? The FBI report points to white nationalism as one main root cause for the spike in hate crimes in the area. So the FBI, these are the people who should know what they're talking about. They're saying that white nationalism is one main root cause for the spike in crimes in the area. White nationalism, that's white pride. That's white above everything else. That's white only. Okay, that's what that is. You think. what I thought was interesting is in the article that I read, I don't know if they talked to any like African American groups. They talked to like some people at the Islamic Center. They talked to some people at the Jewish Center, and that was it. I'm sure they talked to more people, but in the article I read in Cincinnati Enquirer, it was very short, written by somebody named Courtney Francisco. And I'm thinking, well, you ain't talked to no black folks? You ain't talked to the NAACP? I remember talking with them, maybe it was early in the year, and they said they receive all kind of threats all the time. Why weren't they in the article? I don't know. It's very curious. It's very curious what these mofos in local media do. It's very curious. It's very curious. Oh, man. Good morning to you. Good morning. Here we are the day after Christmas. Did you get everything that you wanted? Did you have that difficult conversation with your grandkids or your kids about Christmas and Santa Claus, or are you still lying to them? And so here's the thing. If you lie to your kids about Christmas, you can never be mad about your kids lying to you about anything. You just got to deal with it. You know, if you lie to your kids, they can lie to you. That's how it works. If you lie to them, if you can lie to your children about something as dumb as a fake ass Santa Claus, which there is no Santa Claus, I hope all you kids listening right now, because I'm doing your job. Then when your kids grow up, they can lie to you about whatever they want to lie to you about. That's the new rule. That is the new rule. How many people got exactly what they wanted for Christmas? I'd like to know. Please tell me. I'm very curious to know. How are you? Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Oh, I agree with that. That's a great meme I just read. Great meme. If you're building any kind of team or whatever, follow that meme. Follow that meme. Okay, so I'm reading here that, you know how we were talking about Kenwood Mall. And Kenwood Mall, before Christmas, they reportedly put out their holiday teen schedule. So if you're a teenager, if you're not an adult, we'll put it that way, you can't be in the mall at certain times without being accompanied by an adult. And the reason they did this is because last year there was a big brawl and it was a big fight. It went viral and everybody starts talking about the black family. I get so pissed off every time somebody black does something. We all gotta say sorry for it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what the people that look like me do. I don't ever do that, man. I didn't do a goddamn. That was them. We should take a page from the white community. They don't get upset about what happened. You don't see white people walking around here, you know, taking one for the team for what happened with Pike County, the Pike County murders, which was white on white crime. You basically had one family, a blended family because of a child. And they got so upset over this he said, she said, baby mama drama that one white family literally murdered an entire another white family. But you don't see white folks running around here talking about vigils and what's wrong. And they don't do that. Black folks need to stop doing that too. This is not us. This is them. They did this. Apparently there was a large fight, including teenagers over at North Gate Mall in Coleraine Township. This happened just yesterday. Apparently had a big old fight at the mall's food court. Now, of course, they're going to be at the food court. Yeah. Just before 6 p.m. Because the food court, the food is there. You know, you're not necessarily in any one establishment. People can congregate there. Boom, things pop out. Things pop off. I bet you that 90% of the fights across the country in which teenagers are involved start at the food court. I guarantee it. And apparently it was the power of social media. You know, the teenagers was like, hey, meet us at Northgate Mall. Man, and it was hundreds of teenagers out here when showing off their Christmas clothes. You got some new shoes. You got a new jacket. You got some J's. Don't get some J's, man. You get your grandson or your children some J's and they teenagers, they definitely trying to go out and show them off. Yeah, big old fight. So I guess they're going to cut that down too. The police are investigating, but they put out a message for parents. 1, children need supervision. 2, why would you drop your kids off here knowing that there's a potential for this kind of stuff going on? That's because teenagers will sweet talk the shit out of you to get what they want, man. Man, them teenagers will turn on the charm, be so charming. It's like irresistible. They talking all responsible. Oh, you're just going to use some of the money you got from your gift card? Oh, you got $25 in your gift card. You just want to go use it? Okay, I get it. You're going to be responsible. You got your phone on you. Next thing you know, they in the middle of a damn fight. Can't trust them. Cannot trust them. And then you got the parents who just don't want to deal with their teenagers. It's like, damn, I got 2 days off and this motherfucker's driving me crazy all day. Why don't you go somewhere? School's closed. Oh, you going to the mall? Cool. What time are you coming back? Not be back at a certain time. What time you think you might be back? I don't know, Ma. I don't know. That's how kids are. Them kids will sweet talk the shit out of you to get out the house, get the car, get you to drop them off. Man, as soon as they feed the pavement, you drive off, the real teenager comes out. The real teenager. Crowds of kids still scattered outside Northgate Mall after police say a fight broke out inside the food court. Incident involved 200 juveniles. How can they really say 200 juveniles? I think sometimes people purposely overestimate crowds. When it's a bunch of black folks, I think they overestimate. Was it really 200? I don't see 200. I'm looking at some of the photographs that was posted online. I don't see I see the same group, about like 14 people. A girl with the pink shirt is in that figure. Girl with the yellow shirt over here. They stay at the bus stop. The other thing is nobody really wants to deal with black teenagers in the greater Cincinnati area. Like, I remember being a teenager and I felt persecuted in Cincinnati. I felt like couldn't go nowhere. Like, you go someplace and a shooting or a fight would occur and then they would shut that shit down. And it's like, oh man, we just lost the spot. I don't know if you're 17, 18, 19 years old, where do you go to hang out? What do you do? I guess that's what go get on TikTok, right? Download an app, get on social media, be responsible. 200 people? I mean, there's a big difference between 30 to 40 to 200. Now, is that unrealistic to get 200 teenagers? I don't think so. I'm just saying, show me the visual evidence. Don't just tell me, show me the evidence where there was 200 teens. Matter of fact, I'm on Twitter right now. I just retweeted a story from Helena Battaglia. I don't know if she's with WOWT. I'm not sure if I destroyed her last name. My apologies if I did. You gotta check it out. I don't see 200 teenagers. I see about 15. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 right there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I see 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I see about 30, 40. And just in the different pictures. And I could be recounting the same people over and over again, which I think I am. Because like one picture, let me see here. Got the dude with the yellow hat on back, and you got the hat on backwards. And then that seems like a different picture there. I don't know. Me personally, I'm not afraid of young black teenagers. When I'm in the mall, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid when I'm walking down the street. Some people start getting afraid, like, oh my God, they're 17, they're walking toward us. I don't think anything of it. Hello, young people, how are you today? And keep on going. And that's it. It's been a while since I've been to the mall. Matter of fact, I can't remember if I've seen a fight at the mall in my lifetime. Maybe when I was younger, some shit jumped off or something like that, but I don't know. Hundreds of teens storm Northgate Mall, start fights. Start fights. Shoppers want action. Police promise to take care of it. Oh boy. Hundreds of teens ran wild through Northgate Mall. I mean, before they post this, we need to actually.
Just got chaotic. Now at 11, Northgate
Hold on.
Mall shut down and evacuated after hundreds of teens stormed.
They evacuated Northgate Mall. I mean, was that Again, I wasn't there. Was that really necessary? What is this, a bomb threat? Why would you have to evacuate the entire mall because some people are fighting? That's the dumbest. That sounds like over. That sounds like, but again, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. They had to evacuate the mall?
Fights broke out inside. Good evening, and thank you for joining.
I mean, so what? Like, some people are fighting. Big deal. I mean, and I don't get it. People can fight anywhere. You know, the police come in, they deal with them, you wipe it up, you clean it all up, and there it is. No big deal, but you can tell there's going to be a very strong policy put in place that's going to be anti-teen. Can you blame them, or do you blame them? I don't know. Police start getting calls about 6 p.m. from frightened shoppers and workers who said they were hiding in fear. Sergeant Jim Love and Coleraine Police made several arrests, and more could be coming after the mall had to be shut down and evacuated. The young people also stormed nearby streets. What does that mean, stormed nearby streets? What does that mean exactly? I don't understand. The teens ran through the mall, which I think is a problem because you got people with their children, you got people that's not paying attention, and they're just trying to spend their money. This was a social media organized situation. Quote, they were just being aggressive. They were fighting with each other. We tried to stop and talk and deal with them. They were being aggressive toward him. There were hundreds of them in the mall. Pardon me. It was chaos. Young kids, teenagers, somebody writes. Quote, I immediately thought of a stampede. Don't animals stampede? I don't know. I wasn't there, but from what I'm reading in this article, I just don't like the way that it's written. Some of the words, stampede, that's like a herd of cattle. That's like a herd of some kind of hoofed animal that we refer to as stampeding. These are teenagers. And what does stormed mean? Like, when I think of stormed, I think of like some kind of military action, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they stormed the beaches of Normandy. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think of. Stormed? I mean, how about they dispersed into the streets? You know what I'm saying? Who wrote this, or who's attributed to this particular? I'm on WCPO. This is Kristen Swiley. She is an African American. Let's see here. None of the shoppers who talked to WCPO were hurt. Nobody was hurt, and so far, nothing was stolen. Quote, I think we need more resources for our kids. School is out. Parents are dropping off their kids at the mall, leaving them unattended. So they need more supervision as well as resources. I agree with that. I agree with it. I mean, any parent that allowed their kid to go to Northgate Mall yesterday, shame on you. And sometimes things like, there'll be like a social media beef and people like, okay, well, meet me up here. And then everybody goes up there to see the fight. And then you got your friends and they got their friends and their friends banging, and that's what it is. That's when we started to see the police and realize that something had actually happened, said another shopper. Literally a caravan of kids, probably about 100 students. Coleraine Police had an officer on duty, but the officer was quickly overpowered as teams came through the doors, 30 and 40 at a time. Oh, no. They might come in here and go buy sneakers. I don't think there's anything wrong with 30 or 40 teams going through the door at one time. They could be shoppers. When they be holding them sales, and it's like, oh, okay, for a special time, the mall's going to be open, end of the year sales. There are 30 or 40 people at the door racing to run inside so they can get the deal. But when it's black teens, it's a problem. I don't inherently see a problem with 30, 40, or 13,000 people going through the door one time. It's a mall. It's a mall. It's the day after Christmas. Nobody was hurt. Nothing was stolen. Keep that in mind so far. Although there might be some updated stories that say otherwise. Nobody was hurt. Nothing was stolen. Northgate has a 5 p.m. curfew, but the large crowd was too much to handle. Several surrounding agencies were called in for backup. Man, you could have robbed the bank in Northgate and got away with it because they were so preoccupied with the teenagers at the mall. What are they doing? They're walking. They are running through the mall. Let me see. So what happened in Kenwood Town Center? Kenwood Town Center, they were open on Thursday. Did the teens go over there? Nope, because they was ready for them. And see, this is what's going to happen in Northgate Mall. Next year and for the rest of this year, they're going to probably have a higher police presence. Very quickly, they're going to work on a curfew that'll probably be very similar to what you saw at Kenwood Mall. And some officers and those security guards are going to get some extra overtime pay standing at the door. Because now they're going to have to put a police presence there to deal with the potential of what they just saw. Let me see. Literally, a caravan of kids came through the door. How many people believe that we need more resources for our teenagers? And at the same time, parents got to be responsible for what your teenager is doing. You don't get to drop your kid off at the mall and then go see then go watch Netflix at home. You don't get to do that. And apparently shoppers, hey, I'm shopping, and all these kids just ran in here and scared the bejesus out of me. Can you get up here, please? Because I haven't got all my items. Shoppers want action. So that's capitalism, right? The money's talking. So they're going to do something about this real quick, no matter how anybody thinks about it. But what's your take? Were you at Northgate Mall yesterday? What did you see? Was it as bad as they say it was, or is this all bull? You know what? I don't know. Something happened. And they've already got a curfew, but the problem is it only had one guard there. What's one guard going to do? Frightened shoppers and workers who said they were hiding in fear. Why are you hiding in fear? What worker called and said, oh my God, they're running past the kiosk and they're not touching me. They're not saying anything to me. They're not threatening me. They didn't steal anything, but I'm calling just to know because it's too many of them. That's very suspicious to me. Very suspicious. Again, I'm not afraid of black kids. I've never been afraid of black teenagers. What's to be afraid of? I don't get it. Okay, I see a better angle here.
To figure out where the kids were going. Coleraine police had someone on duty here, but had no idea what was coming.
This is a social media organized situation.
An officer was quickly overpowered as teens came through the doors. 30 and
Came through the door.
A fight broke out in the food court.
That's when we started to see the police and realized that something had actually happened. And it just looked.
Is that right? Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can get some witnesses. I want to know what really, really happened. That's crazy. Damn. Fight break out.
A caravan of kids. Yeah. Literally a caravan of kids, probably about 100 students. Police still don't know the exact.
I'm looking at the local news reporting. It was 2 black women who were actually giving some quotes. The caravan of kids quote came from a black woman. Yeah, they're trying to do what they do. Get that shopping on, and these young teenagers are running through. But again, I don't think anybody was injured. And I don't think that anybody was injured. And I don't think, hold on, I'm just trying to get us a guest on the show. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can just beautiful. Oh, I love it. Oh, man. That is dope right there. Good morning to you. Tracy writes, hi. Good morning to you, Tracy. Brenda writes, happy Friday. Jared writes, good morning. Hashtag TGIF. Hashtag Team NI. I mean, so many things that happened on Christmas. You had the big NBA games. LeBron James versus the Clippers. If you're a Lakers fan, it didn't end too well. In fact, it ended very badly with LeBron James being hurt with a groin injury after being kneed by Patrick Beverly. And the Clippers won that game. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see. Miss Tiffany writes, good morning. Ray writes, grand risings all. Clue Magic writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hey, good to see you, brother. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Last TGIF of the 2010s. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. A whole decade, man. Man, I don't know. Let me go back here. What the hell was I doing a decade ago? Like a decade ago, I was still married. My daughter was 4. Yeah, she was 4 as we came into this decade. Maybe she might have been 5 or something like that. No son at that point. He was about 10 years in the future. Let's see, 2010. Let me go back. Go back to 2010. I'm not even sure, man. I think, I wasn't doing an online show at that point. I know that. Quite interesting. A whole decade. Damn, we're a decade into the new millennium. How much has changed for the community? How much has Cincinnati changed in a decade? I say significantly. How much has it changed? No, water would be better. But thank you so much. And grapes. Grapes. It's the last Friday of the calendar year. Do we have any grapes? Do we have any grapes? That means yes. She just sighed like, gotta go along with this nigga stick. See here. Sharp writes, good morning, Ain't the Choppers. Last TGIF of the 2010s. It is the last TGIF. If you go back 10 years ago, Barack Obama was in the White House. He had been in the White House for 2 years. Of course, he was elected in 2008. Remember that? Those first 2 years of my president is black. That was pretty dope. What else was going on in 2010? Brian writes, good morning. Good to see you. Pat writes, good morning. CJ writes, good morning, all. The Mason Maulers in the house. Morning, Nate and the Choppers, TGIF. Meyer Wolfsheim writes, Daisy. Good morning, folks. Alt Middle remains the protector of children. The biggest villain to children of Cincinnati is the local black boule. These children will never march and sing at a judge's house. There you go. I see Eb G's in the house. How you doing, Eb G? Looking fabulous. She writes, good morning, good people. Angela writes, an amazing 2019 for me. 2020 will be even better. That's great to hear. Great to hear it. Tanika writes, same here, Angela. I accomplished so much. I'm so thankful. That's great to hear. Happy for both of you. Tanika writes, 2020 will be my best year. I hope it is. I hope that it is. Brother Muzone writes, good morning. Maya Wolfsheim writes, Cincinnati is a hateful-ass town with a bunch of punks for men. Cincinnati celebrates dumb-ish, but I did have a grandson in 2019. Cincinnati can be a hateful town. Is that changing? I mean, the whole thing with the FBI and the hate crimes, because literally, the Cincinnati area is more hateful from that particular lens than any other place in Ohio, right? In terms of hate crimes that have been reported, because there's a lot of hate crimes that are not reported. Oh, snap. I got grapes out this morning. What? Let me taste these grapes. Oh, man. Succulent. Succulent grapes. Like those thighs, by the way, wifey. Succulent. Walking in here looking like that. You know what's up. Ray writes, looking forward to 2020. It's our time. Oh, really? Really? It's our time. What does that mean? I like the way it sounds. I'll take it. Coming from you, I'll take it. Believe me. If our time means great things for you and or black people, I'm all for it. I'm for it 100%. Tony writes, good morning. Good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Cassandra writes, hey, Choppers. Tracy writes, on a good note, my son graduated high school. My stepson turned 30 and I turned 50. All great things. Glad to know you're still in the world here, Tracy. That's a beautiful age. I used to think 50 was old when I was like in my teens and 20s. Now I'm like, that's not really that old. It's all about your body. You're going to try to meet up with Tracy this weekend? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Let me see. She writes, a new life of promise. Sounds good to me. I love it, man. Listen, I hope everybody in here is successful, whatever they're trying to do. I sincerely believe that, or sincerely mean that. And with time and hard work and maybe some luck, it can happen, whatever it is. I see everybody's favorite state rep, Cedric Dents, is in the house. He writes, morning, everyone. How you doing, Cedric? Angela writes, Nike stock rose 26.46% thanks to their higher profile Nigra, Colin K. Did the same applicable percentage of stats in a downturn apply to black folks? Probably not. But again, we don't compile those kind of numbers. I don't even know where I would get those kind of numbers from. Tracy writes, Nathan, you need to let that Santa-ish go. People raise their kids as they see fit, including you, sir. Oh, yeah, continue to. But on this show, we will speak the truth about Santa and all these other games. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I don't understand. Why lie to your kids? Everything you said may be right or wrong, Tracy, but what I'm saying, this question is indisputable. Why lie to your kids about a made-up story that in no way enriches you or your culture or nothing? And why do that? Just because it's fun? Okay. I ain't doing it. Miss Tiffany writes, you can have your kids believe there is a Santa. Just let them know it's a character, like cartoons or Sesame Street characters. Right. So I told my son, like, this is just something people do because they make it up. You know, it's just like a made up thing. Like, you know, the Backyardigans. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. Like the Super Friends. Let's see. Tracy writes, I played blackjack at the casino for the first time last night. I'm so glad I'm not a gambler. Blackjack, the casino can be a lot of fun if you got the money and you're winning. Blackjack, people love blackjack. I'm a poker man. You know, for me, when I go to a casino, to me, poker, it gives me the best odds because I'm not playing against the house. I'm playing against this poor slob next to me that's got $50 in his pocket and he wants to try his hand at poker at the Jack Casino. Then I come in here, you know what I'm saying, do my thing. And the house, the casino just gets a percentage from every hand. I like that much better. Drop Rice, good morning, Choppers. 2020, the decade of MBW, me before we, shine, we shine. What do you have to lose? Angela writes, was there a 26.46% increase in false imprisonment for blacks? ? Was there a 26.46% decrease in incidences of racism while supremacy being reported? Tracy writes, I'm sick of playing folks. Put me on the record as saying Fame was right. We doing that on the last Friday of the year, Tracy? We talking about Fame is right? We gonna do that for real? Really? Fame is right about a lot of stuff. Is he right about Colin Kaepernick? No, he's not. No, he's not. Brother Mazone writes, my daughter knew a few of the kids in that fight, a couple of them on her high school basketball team. She showed us their social media page, and they were videotaping the fight and had a flyer about meeting up at Northgate to fight. Shaking my damn head, Shane. Right. I didn't even know that, Brother Mazone, but I know how this works. This ain't the first time it happens. People be having beefs. Because what else is going to get all the teenagers to go? Lil Wayne ain't there. What's the attraction? The attraction is to see two people on social media fight. I ain't surprised. I'm not surprised, but I also don't want to overreact. Because this is knee-jerk reaction city. Knee-jerk reaction city, Cincinnati, Ohio. And we will knee-jerk and overreact to some shit in a second. What they need to do is put a curfew up, and that'll be the end of it. Put up a curfew. There'll be some officers out in that area that's going to get some plenty of like easy overtime, standing outside the mall and opening doors for people and just standing there. And that's just what's going to happen. And they need to recreate what they did at Kenwood Mall. That's it. That's it. And that's it. We don't need to overly vilify black teens because we do that too much in the greater Cincinnati area. We don't need to overly vilify. Oh, it was a stampede. It was a herd. It was a monsoon of teenagers. It was biblical. They were swarming in like locusts. We don't need to do all of that. Just do what they did at Kenwood Mall. Put some more security at the door. Put more security inside. Shoppers will feel safe. Parents will get the message. And there it is. There it is. All you got to do. We don't need to overly vilify teenagers for the next 2 weeks. We don't need to do that. Angela writes, did Nike pledge to donate 26.46 of their net profits to overhaul social injustice and police reform? No, they did not that I know of. I'm not sure they did that. See, now you're asking to be all responsible and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now you're asking to be all super responsible. Oh, look at those beautiful children. Oh my God, those beautiful hair. A beautiful young man. Broadway Flow writes, political pawns, charlatans, con men, old broken Negroes, just vote and be happy for crumbs giving by lesser evil Negroes. And those in the middle trying to make sense of it all. The Negro voting bloc will forever be powerless. 2020 could have been great. But as usual, Negroes get on social media acting like 5-year-olds and doing nothing of substance. Meanwhile, the ones in power laugh. Sad anyway. Good morning. Hashtag alt-middle Ayatollah stand up. Well, one has nothing to do with the other, Broadway Flow. You know, what is teenagers, and they can't even vote. What difference does what they did at the mall have on black people's or the black vote and the impact of the black vote in 2020? There's no connection there whatsoever. You might as well made up, some kind of connection between water balloons and cherry pies. It's got as much relevance as those two things. Tracy writes, Nathan, most of those kids were younger, 13, 14, 15. Now, I got a 14-year-old. My 14-year-old ain't never going to the mall by herself, unsupervised. For what? So she can get snatched? That's number one. So, yeah, I'm with you. 13, 14? Yeah. Tracy writes, I was there like 6 to 7:30. Good 90 minutes, huh? See, people better wake up. IDGAF, who hates me? I don't give a fuck. So Mazza writes, I remember the big riot at the Cincy shop at Swift and Commons. The big riot. Wait. That sounds familiar to me. Maya Wolfstein writes, yes, at Jack's. I was at the craps tables. Got my ass handed to me there in sports investing in Indiana. Because you're playing the wrong game. You should be playing poker. Your odds will be significantly better because you're not playing against the house. You're playing against this poor slob from Lebanon who came down here to play a little bit. That's it. Brother Muzon writes, as a teen, we would have neighborhood fights at high school games and at Forest Fair Mall when I was a teen. But those were different times, and it wasn't never newsworthy. Man, listen, there's always going to be. I don't overreact to fights and stuff like that. I really don't, because it happens.
It happens. Man, it be people get into fights every opening day. Every opening day, there's some kind of fight or some kind of alcohol, induced, aggression back and forth, or people wilding out because they drunk. I don't get upset about that. This is just human nature. And if I was at the mall that day by myself, I wouldn't have thought too much of it. I just would have moved to the side and let those young people run through the mall and pillage and whatever they were going to do. If I was with my family, my antenna would have went up a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's not just me. Now I got to make sure that the whole clan is cool. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why some people might have been afraid, but I'm not afraid of teenagers. I'm not afraid of black teenagers. I go in every neighborhood, walk around by myself. It don't matter. I'm never going to be afraid of some kids. Now, if they've got guns, it's different. Mike Davis writes, "Rise and shine, young stars." He writes, "I was at Northgate Mall yesterday. Really, what'd you see?" Drop writes, "Tracy, it's okay. I say fame's right all the time." Okay. An adult witness saw kids jump on a cop. She said it was on the news. I don't think the kids should be jumping on cops, but you never know what was going down. I don't have all of the information. I can't speak about a situation I'm not aware of. I don't know. I would say, generally speaking, that's a bad idea. I would discourage it. My daughter wasn't out there jumping on cops because my daughter was at home where the hell she was supposed to be yesterday. If my daughter said, "Dad, can I go to Northgate Mall?" Number one, she's not on social media that I know of. She tries to sneak. We've caught her a few times, but she's not on social media. So she's not even going to get the message. That's what the problem is, that damn social media. At 14, she don't need to be on social media. At 15, she don't need to be on social media. At 16, she don't need to be on social media. At 17, she don't need to be on social media. And when she gets 18, she can do what the hell she want to do. Until then, she's going to do what we want her to do. And she's rebelling. You should see little Buddha. She's rebelling. She hates it when we tell her no. She told us the other day she can't wait till she get grown. We just look at each other like, damn, this shit is cyclical. Because I remember telling my parents, I can't wait till I get grown. But I really meant the shit. Some people don't really meant it. Don't really mean it. What's crazy is my daughter was just making a plan to go to the mall Sunday with her close friends. They were planning to go to the movies too at North Grade. Now they changed their plans and now they're going ice skating. Drop writes, "Here we go, Nate. Here we go, choppers." Nate with his speculation and conjecture. Oh, you coming out with the big words at 8:50 a.m. Look at you, Drop. With the speculation and conjecture. Well, if we didn't have speculation and conjecture, what we talk about? Nothing. Cassandra writes, "We need to discuss all these newly created social media accounts from white people claiming that their children are being beaten up for being Trump supporters, and they are getting thousands of views and retweets. These are fake accounts, but they are spreading like lies and showing these gross pictures. It's an agenda to get an emotional reaction from people." Really? I'm not aware of that. Is that right? Well, that's one thing in 2020 that we got to be aware of, and that's the social media games. We're already in the middle of it. You know, I say 2020 because that's next year. We know it's a lot of political stuff, but the social media wars, the war for your attention, the Russians, the Trumpsters, the Democrats, whomever, it's already at play. It's already at play. You're going to see a proliferation of Facebook accounts. You're going to see a proliferation of Facebook groups, pages, all trying to appeal with you or appeal to you in some way. Some of them are going to be trying to further embed the way you feel. Others are going to be trying to, challenge the way you feel. Get ready for it. If you thought 2016 was crazy online, 2020 is going to be, it's going to be much worse. Much worse. Much worse. Drop writes, "Why is Nate defending those badass kids? Because I don't believe in the concept of badass kids. You show me a badass kid, I'm going to show you, go back to that parents that the kid's home, I'm going to show you some badass parents. I don't believe in it. And I'm just not going to play into the already bad image that so many people have about black teenagers. Cause I was a black teenager growing up in Cincinnati, trying to hang out, trying to meet girls, trying to go somewhere where you could do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? No violence in my mind, not doing drugs or anything, just want to hang out. And it felt like you were never wanted. You were pushed from this spot to this spot. Sometimes because violent incidents would break out. And then when violence breaks out, then people can do what they want to do anyway. It's like, oh, y'all violent? Oh, okay. Got you. We wanted to shut this down anyway. And that's what they do. Tracy writes, my 18-year-old son cannot go to the damn mall with an adult. He is a college kid. He is a college kid with his own car and 2 jobs. Hashtag effery. Let's see. I'm not really sure that's an excellent question, Angela, but if that's how you feel, because I'm not defending bad kids. I'm just not doing what the media always does to black teenagers. And that's pile on and, oh, what's wrong? No. Parents, this your fault. Don't let your 13, 14-year-old go to the mall unaccompanied. Don't you know that teenagers are coming up missing? People are getting snatched. Don't you know this? That's just basic. That's just basic. Tracy writes, Northgate should have been ready. And that's the other thing, Tracy. You're right. They should have been ready. Like, if I was the person who was in control of mall security, and this is just me because I think a little differently. But when I saw what happened with Kenwood Mall last year, I would have hyped up and tightened up the rules off the top. How much money is made at these malls by unaccompanied minors? That's what I like to know. Like, how much money do unaccompanied minors generate for the mall? Because this ain't the first time teenagers, I used to go to the mall by myself, hang out, buy stuff. You know, I was a working teenager. So, you know, ooh, man, just got paid. Got to get some new whatever I was trying to buy. You know what I'm saying? I would go to the mall by myself. My parents didn't take me to the mall to buy no damn clothes. I went to the mall by myself. I got on a bus, got a ride out there, and I went shopping on my own. As I'm sure many of you did. Angela writes, we need more parental responsibility. Bingo, bingo, bingo. We need more parental responsibility. That's what the issue is. I'm not going super hard at these minors. Their brains ain't even developed yet. Your brain doesn't even mature until you're 25, 26 years old. We're talking about 13-year-olds. They don't have no damn sense. They don't have no sense. They're 13. They don't know anything. Nothing. Cam writes, a lot of these teens are packing pistols, Nate. That's the reason for all the panic. Yeah, but that's the other thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to assume that every time I see a black teenager that they're packing a pistol. I'm just not going to do that, Cam. Because the vast majority of them are not packing pistols. And who even brought a pistol into this? Nobody. I haven't read that anywhere. That it was a pistol. There was no weapons that were found. Nobody was injured. Nothing was stolen. They had some fights. And then when the police showed up, they ran through the mall like people. It's not right. I'm not condoning it. But I don't want to act like this was like the Hutus and the Tutsis. And they were running through the mall, hacking people to death. Like it was 90s era Rwanda. That's not what happened. Okay? That's not what happened. Have you ever been in the mall and something broke out? But broke out? People running through the mall. There was a fight there. I've seen many fights in malls. People start running from the cops and security officers. I just stepped to the side. There you go. You can catch them. Nate, you are a big black man. That is why the scene wouldn't have fazed you. Well, I am a big black man. And you're right. That may be part of the reason why it didn't faze me. But the other part is just my mentality about it. I think that's the biggest part. The biggest part is I'm a reserve being afraid for when I really need to be afraid. You know what I'm saying? When there's really an emergent situation. And everybody's different though. So you're right. There might have been some people there. I just can't see myself calling the police. I'm in the mall, right? If I'm in the mall, I'm shopping because I'm not really a window shopper. If I'm going to window shop, that's called online shopping. I've never been a window shopper in my life. When I go to the mall, I go to the mall to buy something, to do something. I'm going to see a movie, or I'm looking for the opposite sex when I was younger, or I was going to shop. That was it. I'm not a window shopper. It's like, man, I can't have it. I don't want to do that. So I'm in the mall. I'm doing my thing. I just can't see myself calling the police because some teenagers are running through. You know what I'm saying? That's your job. You work there. Now, if there was a shooting or something, that's different. But just teenagers running through, I ain't calling the police for that. No, just me. I see Cam Hardy's in the house. What's up, Cam? Good to see you, brother. Got a brand new pod coming from Cam Hardy. Can't wait for you to get a chance to check it out. Yeah, looking forward to that. Look for that in the new year. Mrs. Love Being Black writes, good morning, fellow beautiful people. Absolutely. Tracy writes, Nathan, why are you downplaying this? I'm not downplaying it, but what I'm doing is the opposite of what I know that local mainstream media is going to be doing today. And all day long, they're going to be vilifying black teenagers. And I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. You can get that on 700. You can get that in other media stations later on today because they're going to jump all the way in. Because most media in this city reacts to knee-jerk reactions. They don't really think it through. They just go with the first impulse they think or the first reaction they hear. I don't do that. Especially when it comes to black teens. So you're going to get a lot of the vilification of the black teen and the black family today. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? Ain't nothing wrong with me. My daughter was at home. Your children were at home. That's them Negroes over there. That's what they need to be dealt with. I'm not going to overly internalize it like black people do every time something happens. Oh, what's wrong with the family? Nothing. Nothing wrong with the family. The real question is, what's wrong with those individual parents? How do you drop off a 13-year-old at a mall, a 14-year-old at a mall? Now, maybe they said they were going to the movies. Is there a movie theater at Northgate Mall? I don't know. It's been so long. I don't go to malls anymore. I do everything online. I don't have to go to the malls. I do everything. I'm a digital citizen. Go to the mall? For what? They better have a hella sale for me to be there. Because I can get everything online. They get crazy sales online. They send it straight to the house. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. I don't shop for my clothes at a mall. I mean, I got a couple spots around the city where I get, you know what I'm saying, what I get. It's not a mall. It's not a mall. So I don't really go into the mall. I haven't been in Northgate Mall probably in 10 years, if not longer than that. I can't remember the last time I even stepping foot inside of Northgate Mall. Let me think here. I think 10, 12, 13, 14 years. I went to the movies with a friend. I had first gotten married. For whatever reason, he wanted to meet out of Northgate Mall. We went to go see a movie at Northgate Mall together. That was about it. So I'm probably not, I'm not like a pro mall person anyway. So maybe you might say I'm out of touch, maybe. I don't know. So I'm not downplaying it, Tracy. I'm putting it in its proper perspective. Everybody else is trying to blow it up like it was some kind of black teen revolution. That's it. I blame the parents, and then I blame Northgate Mall. But in that order, I blame parents first and then Northgate Mall. Why? Because parents, these are your children. You don't drop your kids off unsupervised anywhere in this world. And number two, Northgate should have been prepared for this. They should have been prepared. Didn't they see what happened with Kenwood Mall last year? I mean, it's the arrogance of Northgate Mall. Or maybe they wanted this to happen. Which I doubt. I doubt that very seriously. I doubt that Northgate Mall would purposely, understaff the security guards and not come up with some type of teen curfew so that something could happen and then they could overreact and put in some kind of super stringent curfew. That doesn't make any sense. What makes more sense is lack of forethought. If I was running Northgate Mall's security, we would have had more security guards there, period. We would have put in a teen policy just like they did in Kenwood. That's what they should do. But no, they waited until, something broke off. Now, there's no way for them to be able to monitor social media because it's just too vast. So there's no way for them to be in those kind of circles. But I blame the parents. And then I think the mall was slow to respond to the times, even though they can't predict these kind of things and what day it's going to happen and things like that. But, it is what it is. And the thing about it is they're going to lose business for the short time. They're going to have to come out pretty strong like this year with a new policy, because here we are going into the end of the year. You're going to have the end of the year sales, the New Year's sales, New Year's Day sales. They don't want to lose out on that money. It's big money. Tracy writes, Nathan, why are you downplaying this ? What if you had a business in the mall and 200 kids stormed in and wild out? If I had a business in the mall, I may have a different perspective, but the way I look at it would be largely the same. If I had a business in the mall, I'd be mad at the people that run the mall because you didn't have the foresight to look ahead and predict something that is very predictable. Okay, I don't know. Brother Mazone writes, LOL, not me, homie. They tried to get me to go last time they went ice skating. I told them, hell no, LOL. A fall hurts worse when you're in your mid-40s, but they go ice skating in Summit Park in Blue Ash, not downtown. Yeah, ice skating is one of the hardest things that you'll do. And not only is the fall terrible, but the ice skates themselves hurt. Like putting the boots on, the way they clamp around your ankles, that shit in and of itself hurts. It is so tight. I mean, you can break your leg real easy, but, it's fun if you can get going. Angela writes, I've been in the middle of a crowd of preteen teenage kids that turned into gunplay. Quit minimizing the seriousness of this, Nathan. No, I'm not. You're trying to make this something that is not. So did I miss something, Angela? Did I miss something? Because I don't remember anybody saying that there was a gun involved. There was no gunplay. So why are we talking about gunplay? But that's what we do with black teens. Is oh my God. They could have had a bazooka. I think one of them had a bazooka. No, nobody had a gun. Nobody, so this point, got hurt. I mean, if you get into a fight with somebody, it's between you and that other person. But no bystanders, shoppers reported to this point getting hurt. There was no gunplay and nothing was stolen. So I'm just trying to put things in their proper place. Like I said, mainstream media is going to vilify the hell out of these kids all day. I don't want to do that here. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not for that. Maya Wolfstein writes, in 2020, we need to focus on the most racist and biggest threat to black men, family court. We need to remind ourselves that our dads should not have to fight to see our sons every Wednesday and every other weekends. Family court is a sleeper cell of terrorism for the black community, but we don't discuss that. Family court has its issues. It really does. But a lot of those issues come from people having kids out of wedlock. I'm not saying that if you get married that, you're not going to have no problems. But what I'm saying is if you're not married, you drastically increase the likelihood that you're going to have more baby mama drama. So I got a friend and we're about the same age. Matter of fact, I was at his birthday party yesterday and he and his wife don't have any kids. And he's, sometimes he'll be ribbing me or whatever about our son or whatever. I'm not sure what his point is, but the difference, he has an older son that he had out of wedlock. And I remember growing up with him, it was a difficult relationship. You're dealing with a baby mama. And so, it's different when you're dealing with a baby mama as opposed to a wife. There's a big difference there. So if Negroes could control their sexual organs and start making better decisions, then maybe their asses wouldn't be in family court, yapping about what day you going to see your kid. Make better choices from the jump. Make better choices about who you decide you want to procreate with, and then make better choices about when you procreate and the manner in which you procreate. And maybe these brothers won't be in family court, squabbling about whether you're going to see him on Saturday or Friday. Maybe. Now, of course, if you get divorced, then you got to go through those kind of things because you might be fighting for custody and stuff like that. But some tells me that if you go down to the courts, child support, family court, things like that, that the majority of those cases are going to be people that were never married. And all I'm saying is, if you go that route, you're going to open the door for you to have all kind of issues. It could be worse. It probably will be worse than if you married the woman who you actually have a child with. You know, mofos out here trying to have 2-3 different baby mamas, 2 different kids, but you want everything to be chill. Well, it may not be chill because of the actions that you took already. You know what I'm saying? You have spread yourself so far with different individuals. Some cases you barely know these people, but then you want everything to be chill. It don't work that way. It reminds me of, it was a really interesting case this year in which you had DeMarcus Cousins, who is an NBA center. He plays for the Lakers now. And he got into a little bit of problems because he said, and he got caught on audio, that he basically wished death on his baby mama. And the reason why he wished death on his baby mama is because his baby mama would not allow their son to go to the wedding that he was having with a brand new woman. And it was brothers in here getting all mad about it. But I understood the lady. You ain't married. You ain't got to do that. And you know she probably sour grapes because you got a kid with her. But now the next chick is getting your last name. And you got a baby with her. And I'm just saying those kind of things build up resentment. You never know. You're not married to a woman, she ain't got to do a damn thing you say. If you're married to a woman, she ain't got to do what you say. You know what I'm saying? That's a real sour grape situation. You with this chick, get her pregnant, you got a son with her. Y'all don't work out. Years later, you meet another lady, y'all get pregnant, you got another son, another daughter on the way, and you happily married with her. Those kind of situations can breed resentment. It makes it more difficult for you to see your kid. She might have an attitude. I'm not saying I think it's right. I'm just saying that's real life. I'm just saying, stop shacking up with these ladies and having children out of wedlock. And then you want to talk, I want to see my son. I want to do this. I want to do that. I got my rights. I mean, you do. Obviously, no one woman should ever deny a father from seeing a kid. But dude, you didn't took a real difficult route here. You made things more difficult than they really had to be. Then you want to complain about family court. Don't go to family court then. Simple as that. Be more mature in the choices that you make with the women you having and who you slanging your reproductions around with, organs around with. And there it is. She won't listen. She won't do this. She all crazy. Yes, you knew she was crazy when you was messing with her. That's what you liked about her. Now it's a problem. Simple as that. Yeah, we need to stop whining in 2020. Stop whining in 2020. Angela writes, noticeably, you didn't have Buddha or Junior out in the melee. Well, and hopefully it'll stay that way. Yeah, hopefully it'll stay that way. Now, these boys are something else. I know the whole teenage 14-year-old thing. Let me tell you, teenagers, when they say your kids will change on you, it's like, these are teenagers. Man. They say girls are different. Listen. So my son, I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. If he's out there, he'll be against my wishes. Schuler writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. I watched a video of the incident in Northgate, and there had to be at least 100 minors in the shot. Okay. Let's say there was 200 minors there. Okay. I mean, there's things that was in the article that I read that are not illegal or improper. There was a line that read, there was like 30 or 40 teens that came through the doors at one time. Isn't that what you want at a mall during holiday season? Yeah. I mean, what's the difference? Nathan's it's not the 80s and 90s anymore. These teens are involved in heavy gunplay, hence all of the teen murders all around Cincinnati. Cam, listen, all I'm saying, brother, is Is that a part of the story? I haven't read that. I haven't read that there was any gunplay. There wasn't any shots fired. We can't put that on these teenagers just because somewhere else in the greater Cincinnati area, we know that teenagers have been involved in gunplay. No wonder no one wants to be involved with black teenagers because we all think they packing. I don't think that about black teens. I'm not sitting around here every time I see a black teenager thinking, oh boy, he got something in his pocket. I don't think that way. Now they might, maybe I'm naive. And I think it's wrong to apply that to this scenario because it didn't happen in Northgate Mall. Let me go look at the most relevant news here. I'm not trying to dampen anything. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective because all day long, it's going to be 100% vilification. You know it and I know it. Oh, what's wrong with the family? Nothing's wrong with the family. Here it is. When you show up in 30 and 40 at a time, you're in the parking lot and you walk through the doors, you're one cop. What are you going to do when there are 3 or 4 different entry places, right? Police said 30 to 40 teenagers entered the mall at one time. Let me stop right there. So what? The reason why 30 to 40 teenagers were able to enter the mall at the same time or at one close, time span is because that's how they designed the doors to open. They designed the doors at malls so that a lot of people can go in and out at one time. You know why? Because when they get your ass in there, you're going to spend some money. So what if 30 or 40 teenagers went through the door at one time? Big deal. I don't see what the problem is. That's what the mall is supposed to do. The real issue is what they did when they got inside. If you go into a mall, you run around, and you're going to scare the bejesus out of some people. People have their children. They may have baby strollers. You may have, younger kids who are 2, 3, 4. They're walking, but they're really not that strong. You can injure a child. You got older people in there, people that's got health conditions. These are the kind of people that cannot take a tackle. They can't take a major blow or a fall. They might break their hip, so I get it. I know why they shouldn't be doing it. I'm just saying, don't let them gas this whole situation up so that it's much worse. I got your message, Tracy. Before I do that, I've got to take a quick break, okay? She said, turn the phones on. I got to take a quick break. We'll come right back. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, live, local, and vocal, powered by Sin Digital Media, daily digital media from the Cincinnati area. We'll be right back.
Change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher. Be my teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you.
Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you.
I'm waiting.
People are always talking about the stock market. Always looking to invest in a good opportunity. Something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids. Like a stock. Not the kind of stock where you invest to make money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps students like me go to college. which ends up making the future better for everybody. I could be the first college graduate in my family, the first district attorney from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there will be a second and a third. This can really be the start of something. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm going to keep ticking. But no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Tracy from Cincinnati on deck. Let me connect her because we've been talking back and forth via text message. If you'd like to share your thoughts, you got the number 513-873-7134. Let me bring Tracy on the air. Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Okay, so what irritates me about this whole mall melee, and you might hear me use a few words that the media has used, is the fact that it was premeditated. These kids need something to do, but it's not everybody's responsibility to create that outlet for them. Just like you come on the air sometimes, Nathan, and say, we have family time. We do this at home. We do that. And it doesn't take a 2-parent household to do something with your kids. Do you know how many times my husband, because he was in his Christmas season at UPS, how many times I just sat at the dining room table and played Uno with my kids? I'm just tired of Uno, but I don't let my kids run the streets either. You know, it takes me back to, parents who are online saying, these kids need something to do. They're bored. Well, provide them something to do. The last kids, last I checked, that were bored were in College Hill, and they beat up a man because they were bored. You know, stuff does happen. I'm going to give you a scenario, and don't say this isn't the same, because you know you always do that to me. One time, I'd say maybe 7 or 8 years ago, my husband and I took our kids to the Hamilton County Fair. So Chase and Chad were real little then. They were much smaller then. A fight broke out at the fair. Everybody's running and fighting and swinging. I picked one kid up. My husband picked the other kid up, but we didn't look at each other. We ran in opposite directions. Can you imagine the sheer terror that both of us had when we couldn't find each other because we were caught in this madness? You know, and as far as the word stampede goes, I know that stampede is real. I was almost caught up in something like that at Central State, trying to go to a party. The doors were closed. There was about 200 to 300 people in line, and they start pushing. Imagine like the way they described the Who concert. They start pushing and pushing, and I'm caught in the middle with everybody else that's in the middle of this sandwich, and we're being pushed into the door. So stuff like this really does happen, and I don't think it should be downplayed. I think that These parents need to take control of their kids. It is possible to know where your kids are. People, you don't know where your kids are every second of the day. You got a phone and there's apps for that. And that's what I do. I was down at the Horseshoe Casino. I knew where my kids were when I was on the table playing blackjack. You know what I mean? It's possible. So we need to quit acting like, we don't know where our kids are. We don't have control. We just drop them off because we don't want to be bothered. And then we pick them up when the mall closes. And then when stuff happens, we want to point the finger at everybody else. We need to hold these kids accountable and get control of our kids. That's all I'm venting about this morning.
All right. Appreciate the flows. Appreciate it. And I agree. I'm not going to say it's different. I agree. I agree with the first thing you said when you said that it's the parents' responsibility to find something for their kids to do. Right. It's my wife and I's responsibility to find something for little dude to do during the summer or during the Christmas break or whatever. You're right. It's not on you. It's not on you. And you're right. It's on me. And that's what we forgetting. Like, I take care of my kid. You take care of your kid. Everybody takes care of their kids in a responsible way. Boom, community's cool. That's why I say I blame the parents. You're talking about a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old. These are minors. If a minor throws a rock and breaks a window, who's responsible? The parent. Same thing. Same thing. So I'm just not with the over vilification of black teenagers. I'm just not with that. So I think that there is a community. There should be more community investment, perhaps, in quote unquote finding something constructive for teens to do. Because when we don't, and it spills out into the public, it becomes a community issue. Law enforcement. You telling me there were no other crimes going on in Northgate yesterday where the police should have been at? They over here wasting their time with some people's kids where the kids shouldn't even be there unsupervised. So I'm with you on that 100%. I'm with you. Can somebody please help me? I'm reading from OZ Davis's page, and I saw on OZ's page that, he is no longer on the school board, which saddens me that we don't have any black males on the school board. It saddens me. I think that there's definitely going to be something lost because of that perspective. And say what you want. I know some people are like, oh, Oz, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that when he was trying to get his letters or whatever. I'm just saying I think we lost something on the school board. I could be wrong about that, but I see OZ Davis and others are posting what appears to be the very basic and very easy way. I mean, one of the easiest ways to do graphics is Canva. I use it for a lot of stuff that I do. It's very easy. You can go in. It looks like somebody used Canva and put together the flyer. Be there. Link up. Time 6:30 p.m. December 26th. Where? Northgate Mall. Get lit, bitch. That's what it reads. Get lit, bitch. Get lit, bitch. So all the teens went up there. They wanted to get lit. They can't even really get lit, though, legally speaking. Get lit, bitch. Link up. Let me see what people are saying on his post. Pardon me. I see Kareem Moncrief writes, McCream Moffitt writes, hence the reason for Kenwood's mall curfew. Is that right? Somebody posted a flyer from 2 weeks ago before Kenwood announced the curfew. Let me see this. Big link at Kenwood Mall. Okay. Bring your own money. Leave the drama at home. Come turn up in the mall. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The malls, see, if the malls were smart, what they would do is absorb the idea. Because obviously there's an audience for it. You might have to put some standards around it. Like, why don't they have like a time at the mall where the teens can go? And you make it Big Link at the mall because Big Link seems to be the way, turn that into the marketing for you and promoting that. Big Link Entertainment or some shit. I don't know. At Kenwood Mall. It reads right here, leave the drama at home. I would say that here's the other reason why I don't want to vilify the black teenagers, because something tells me that the majority of them probably didn't want the drama anyway. Because I remember when I was a teenager, I was never for the drama. And I used to get pissed off when somebody else would either start firing shots or get into a fight or break a window or something. And then everybody paints the whole group as being in on it. The whole group probably wasn't in. I guarantee you it was some teenagers up there saying, y'all need to stop. Y'all always fighting. Why you doing this? There's always an element of that. And it's probably at least the majority of them. But from the outside looking in, we want to seem like all the teenagers was in it together. They was all just a raving band. That's not true. I don't believe that's true anyway, just because of my own experiences. I remember being at parties like, damn, pissed, like, damn, can't do nothing. Can't go nowhere. Because me and my friends wasn't on that. It was somebody else that would bring guns into the club or doing something dumb. The whole party gets shut down. And then you wasted your time and your money. So let's not paint with a broad brush. It might have been 200 teenagers out there, but it doesn't mean that all 200 teenagers were engaged with running through the mall and all whatever and fighting. I bet you the majority of those teenagers wanted to have a good time, and they probably have been like, damn, can't do nothing. Just like we did when we were teenagers. See, people forget. I don't forget. I don't forget what it was like to be a teenager growing up in Cincinnati. I can still remember it. Some people are forgotten and they want to paint with a broad brush. It's not everybody, even in that crowd. You know, with some kids like, damn, stop. You know, we're going to get put out of here to play because they want to talk to the opposite sex or, you know, get lit or whatever. But that's what Northgate needs to do. They need to do two things, in my opinion. They should institute a teen curfew. At the same time, they should get into the teen business. And they got a food courtyard. Call it, you know, link up, get lit, but then come up with an acronym for lit that is something that's more positive or steers you in the direction of what you're trying to go for. I mean, come on, I can't come up with all the damn ideas. That's what you do. And put it on Facebook and say, look, you know, you can't run through the mall at any time, but we got 2 hours for you. This is teen time or whatever you want to call it. And you come out here and you can do your teen stuff. And then y'all motherfuckers got to leave. There it is. Problem solved. You make money. You come up with a way to make sure that your customers are safe. And at the same time, you know, you can capitalize off of this market here. Because these teenagers got money. They got Christmas money. They got money from their mama and their daddy. They want to spend it. Let them spend it at the mall. Let them spend it at the mall. That's what I think they should do. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Brother Mazzone writes, LeBron looked past his prime. I think Kawhi and Patrick Beverly had him shook. I mean, what's his man, 35 years old? I mean, that's old for basketball. He definitely ain't what he was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, he was in Miami dominating. You know, that's not the problem with the Lakers. The Lakers have a problem with a couple things. The Lakers' problem is they need another ball handler, somebody that can instigate the offense. Like sometimes, and I think he can do this pretty good. Rondo's pretty good at that. Okay, but sometimes his decision making is off. They need somebody that's gonna get the offense going. Two, they need to release Kuzma, and they need to load manage LeBron. LeBron James should be load managed throughout the rest of the season. Period. All that MVP talk, that don't matter. You're trying to win the playoffs. But we shall see, man. It's going to be good sports entertainment. They had that game, and then with calls and just blown shots, turnovers, and the Clippers played good, and they lost it. So I enjoyed it. Gentrification has changed Cincinnati significantly in the past decade. Yeah, it has, especially in Over the Rhine. But has it changed Cincinnati significantly for the better or for the worse, in your opinion? Brother Muzone, you tell me. Media has changed in 10 years. Like 10 years ago, I was working in corporate radio, and corporate radio was just not really. I mean, that corporate radio entity anyway was not really into the digital space. Within the last 10 years, there's been an explosion of digital shows. You got Dr. Boyce Watkins. You got Yvette Carnell, who initially wasn't doing her own thing. If you remember, she was working with Dr. Boyce Watkins. Shout out to Dr. Boyce Watkins, because I disagree with him a lot. And he does some shit he do that just piss me off sometimes, things I see him post. But I respect the brother in terms of what he's built and what he's trying to build digitally. Because, Dr. Boyce Watkins has brought you in this decade some very well-known, digital media personalities. I mean, Yvette Carnell. People love Yvette Carnell. She started the whole black and brown thing out of Boyce Watkins' camp. Then they fell out over money. Vicky Dillard, who does the daily Fly Nubian Queens. Of course, if you don't know it, that was started by Dr. Boyce Watkins, whether you know it or not. And just a whole lot of stuff is happening in that space. A whole lot has changed. A lot has changed. And this was before Revolt. Let me see. I think that even predates Roland Martin on News One Now. He did not start in 2010. He started years after that, I believe. I think they were on for like 7 years or something like that. I'm not sure. Let me double check that. It's just been an explosion in all those kind of things. And you're going to see more of it. You're going to see much more of it. Beverly is that dude. When you get into a street fight with him, the longer it lasts, it increases his chances of winning because he won't get tired. Well, like I said, it's easy to block somebody when you already know they got a hamstring, they got a groin problem, and they're limited. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're on the court, you can tell if somebody's kind of limping or not really doing what they normally do. So, basically Pat Beverly just challenged LeBron James to drive on him. And LeBron did what he normally did. And he tried to do some kind of fadeaway three that got blocked. It was obviously out on LeBron James. I never thought it was out on Pat Bev. It looked like it was out on LeBron James. And it is what it is. Answer writes, I'm sure it would be a different matter entirely if you had to protect your kids getting swept up in a group of chaotic kids. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Mike Jones writes, good morning, TGIF. Cam writes, you are downplaying this, Nate. Too much eggnog? No eggnog, actually. No, I'm not downplaying anything. Jerica's in the house. How you doing? She writes, I'm back. It's good to see you, Jerica. How you doing? Y'all still married and happily? That's great to hear. It's beautiful. Time magazine poll finds Barack Obama worse president than Nixon and George W. Bush. Really? Let me look this up. Really? That seems strange. In 2014, a Time magazine poll was released with results saying Obama was the worst president in modern history. That's a flashback. What are you talking about? That's like some flashback to 2014. They did a poll. That's not a recent poll. Let's see. Ray writes, yep, you, Nate, have an idea from the summer. Let's see. Will the in-studio fight between the conceited bastard versus the overseer? You back to that again, huh? Okay. Let me see. Brother Mazone writes, oh, he's in that getting into stuff age. My son is starting to crawl and he into everything when he's on the floor except his toys, LOL. I remember that age. That's a very, gotta watch everything they do age. They go from being helpless to now you gotta like child-proof the house. Kenwood Mall was like, it won't happen again here like it did last year. Northgate didn't take notes. Maya writes, listen, people, if I can pick you a sports winner at 66% accuracy as I am since the September of 2018, it ain't gambling. It's investing. I'm not going to plug my show, but you know what to do. Okay. Hey, I see Andrea's in the house. Hey, what's going on, Andrea? How are you this morning? I did send you a message. Not sure if you received it. I think you probably did. Yeah. Tracy writes, my son knew last week that it was going down in the mall. Oh, really? He didn't say nothing, huh? Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy, and all the beautiful people in the chop shop. Shout out to the lady choppers. Every time they on the air, Mr. Ivy, I get highly motivated and truly dedicated to pick up the phone and make the call. Mr. Ivy, are you ready for 2020?
I'm definitely ready for 2020.
Because, Mr. Ivy, I have a question for you. Where is Barack Obama? You just cited a poll, Time Magazine from 2014, and you act as if it's irrelevant because they named Barack Obama one of the worst presidents, worse than George W. Bush, worse than Richard M. Nixon.
Yeah, but how's that relevant in 2019? That happened in 2014.
It's only been one other president since, so it's totally relevant.
Okay, I missed the point. It's relevant. Why now?
Because Barack Obama was reelected to his second term in 2013. Okay? The poll was taken after he was reelected. So the poll is extremely relevant. And the reason you're seeing it on your timeline today is because of what's happening with the FBI and the Durham investigation, criminal investigation into the FISA warrant applications that were done by the tainted FBI and James, the liar, the leaker, Comey. So, Mr. Ivy, Barack Obama.
This is all old news.
No, sir. Who is the front runner for the Democrat Party in the 2020 election? I will help you, sir, so you won't have to go through the 16 names remaining that only has one irrelevant African-American who happens to be the last member of Team Light Skin standing, that is Cory Booker. But the front runner for the Democrat Party is Joe Biden, who happens to be the vice president during the fake dossier, the fake Russian collusion investigation led by Robert Mueller.
Yeah, but didn't didn't they just do an investigation, and what they found is that it wasn't fake, that the FBI and the intelligence community Well, no, this is what was found. I'm giving facts now. This is not opinion. What they concluded is that the FBI was justified into their investigation into Trump. This is old news.
No, sir. First of all, you have to understand that there's a broad leeway into starting an investigation in the first place. Okay? That is just part of the findings. You failed to mention the 17 mistakes done by the tainted FBI, led by the liar and the leaker, James Comey. Lordy, I hope they're tapes. Okay? So, Mr. Ivy.
No, I didn't fail to mention it. It's just overall irrelevant. No,
17 mistakes.
Sir.
How do you make all mistakes towards one person?
I'm going to tell you why.
Those are mistakes.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Humans make mistakes. Now, let's be, since you brought it up.
The kids at the mall didn't make no mistakes, right, Mr. Ivy?
Well, the operative word there is kids. I don't compare the actions of minors to grown-ass 50 and 60-year-old and 40-year-old individuals. Do you?
These are high school students, Mr. Ivy.
No, these are teenagers.
They have to be accountable for their behavior.
These are teenagers.
Just like FBI agent.
In our society, sir, we do not hold minors accountable on the same level as we do adults, because we understand their brains aren't developed yet. I mean, just so you know that.
Mr.
But going
Ivy.
back to what you said, the reason why I didn't mention the 17 mistakes is because they're overall irrelevant. What people have to understand is that the investigation, it's overall irrelevant. And I'll tell you why. Because the reason why that investigation was put forth was by Trump's request, and the Republicans in Congress got behind it, because what they thought they were going to find is that the FBI agents who were behind the investigation, charged with leading the investigation to Trump, what they thought they were going to find is that it was politically motivated. That was the whole point of it. Hold on.
Mr. Ivy.
That was the whole point of it. And what they found is that there were political feelings on both sides. We always talk about Peter Strzok and what he said, but what gets downplayed by the media.
Lisa.
What gets downplayed by the media are the pro-Trump FBI folks who, when they went through their tweets, they were saying things that were like pro-Trump and negative to Hillary Clinton. So what's the point of all that? The point of all that is that these longtime bureaucrats have their personal political feelings, but it did not come into play in the investigation. And that was the most important reason. And that's the reason why I didn't mention the 17 mistakes.
Okay, first of all, Mr. Ivy, this was an Inspector General report, okay? A report that is done through written statements and interviews, okay? So if you work for the Justice Department or FBI and they came to you and asked you, were you biased? And you say no, okay, boom. You interview 5 other and they all say no. That's what you're going to put in your report. But Bob Durham, he took the 17 mistakes that the FBI made when they were filing search warrants on American citizens, search warrants on a presidential candidate, Nate. Haven't you heard the stories of what the FBI have done to black people over these past 50 years, Mr. Ivy? Okay,
on
can
November
you imagine?
9th, you know, that Inspector General investigation found a bunch of things. And what they found is that on November 9th, 2016, an FBI agent, these are 2 FBI agents who are texting back and forth, and one of them writes Trump in quotations and an exclamation point. And then he wrote, ha, 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 shit just got real. Yes, it did.
Right. Okay.
So I'm saying what that means is that these individual Americans have their personal beliefs. Like some of them were pro-Trump, some of them are pro-Hillary.
Yes.
But what the inspector, I must reiterate what I just said again. Hopefully it'll sink in this time. What the Inspector General's overall conclusion is that the investigation into Trump was not politically motivated. It was based upon evidence.
Okay, Mr. Ivy. But I know, but see, you're whitewashing the most important part, okay? These were FBI agents, Mr. Ivy, okay? Do you remember in the OJ case when they found out that Officer Furman used the N-word and falsified stuff, they went back and took all of his cases, okay? When you find a crooked DA,
did they?
You go back and you review all their cases.
He wasn't the DA, though.
Dismissed.
He wasn't the DA. He was an investigator on the case.
Mr. Ivy, this is a FBI agent who 17 times lied on Donald Trump to get warrants to investigate Americans, Nate. They were not investigating Russians. FISA is for Americans. That's why it's secret. Okay, so Mr. Ivy, it's going to come out. I'm not saying that anything's going to happen to Barack Obama because Barack Obama is about that life. Okay, he's stacking chips, and I ain't mad at him because this is America. But what I'm saying, if the Democrats Party's front runner, Mr. Joe Biden, is still around, and the criminal aspect of this IG report, which is already criminal.
You're trying to argue against the facts.
That headline. You're not reading that headline.
You're arguing against the facts. You're arguing against the facts. Look,
you haven't mentioned the guy that probably will go to jail. The guy who falsified these documents. Did you hear what the FISA court said, Mr. Ivy?
Are you aware of the overall conclusions of the report that you're even referring to?
Mr. Ivy, it's beyond the report now. That's why I brought it up.
You want to have it every way, basically.
2020. No, Mr. Ivey,
You were the
that's why I
same
said
guy.
2020.
You were the same guy 3 months ago talking about wait until the IG report comes out. It's going to show that it was politically motivated, and it did not show that.
Yes, Mr. Ivey. I didn't say. Oh, see, here you go. All I say is trust and verify. It's out there. You don't need the overseer to drop something in the chop shop because these choppers, they know how to trust and verify, okay? They don't need Mr. Mahler to explain it to them. It's out there, Mr. Ivey, and there is a criminal investigation that's going on from the limited scope of an inspector general. Inspector general cannot find innocent, guilt, anything. He goes by the people who he interviewed within the department. I work for the government. I know how inspector generals work. Okay, so Mr. Ivey, again, 2020, sir, if Joe Biden continues to be the front runner, meaning only black people will vote for him, no other black people are feeling anybody else in the Democrat Party. They're tired of being told to vote for us so we can give you some free stuff. They're tired of that. Okay, so all I'm saying, Joe Biden, 2020, Vice President, 2016. Where's Barack Obama? Drop Squad 52. Dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Yeah. He dropping science and misinformation. I dropped a link where you can check it out for yourself. Dropping misinformation for anybody not bright enough to see through the nonsense. That's what he's doing. He needs to stop, man. I don't even know why he was talking about that. People can look for themselves. It's very obvious. The Republican, listen, the Department of Justice is run by the Trump administration. And you know, just like I know, that Trump don't care about experience. He cares about loyalty. That means that all of the most important people that make the most important decisions are loyal to Trump. And they produced a report that concluded that the FBI was completely justified into investigating Donald Trump, and there was no political motivation. And see, this is what the Republicans have been very good about. They were reading all these text messages between Peter Strzok, and this was a white male member of the FBI who was having a sexual relationship with a female. I don't know if she was a white female in the FBI. They're texting back and forth about how they didn't want Donald Trump to become the president. Okay. That doesn't mean, see, sometimes people can project the way they think onto other people. And in that way, they can sort of like tip their hand. So check it out. Trump and the Republicans immediately believe that if somebody has these kind of personal beliefs, that they're going to take that into their job and do whatever they can to try to make that happen. That's what the politicians do. But these FBI agents are essentially bureaucrats. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat, Republican, whoever is in the White House. They got a job to do. And what we also found, and what was downplayed, is there were dozens upon dozens of, not dozens upon dozens, but they found examples of FBI agents who were texting things back and forth, and they were pro-Trump and very negative about Hillary. They never talk about that because it doesn't fit their narrative. Are you a never Trumpster? That's like a real question. Because if you're a never Trumpster, then Trump people will say that you don't have the ability to be rational, right? You don't have the ability to see right from wrong because you just don't like them. They want to try to make it personal. This ain't personal. It's not personal. It's the facts. You know, Drop, you're wrong for that. For trying to mislead the people. Ray writes Barr, right. This is William Barr's Department of Justice, right? Believe me, if there was any evidence that they could put it out there like, oh yeah, this was politically motivated, they would have done it. But it doesn't exist. And Drop doesn't realize that. Let us move on. 513-873-7134. Did you get everything that you wanted for Christmas? That is what I would like to know. Did you receive everything that you wanted for Christmas? 4 and 5 years old. 4 years old is a magical age. It's a magical age. Because you can get your son, you can get a 4-year-old like some simple toys. They'll be super happy. They'll be super happy. He got a couple things on his list, toys, and that little boy played all day long. Like, he played super hard. And if you can remember being a kid, you remember what that's all about. He was so excited. And he thanked us 1,000 times. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy. I mean, he was just so happy. He kept running over his toys all day. He must have thanked me at least 5 times on Christmas for his toys. So he got some toys. We don't go overboard with it. Did you get everything that you wanted for Christmas? And what in the hell was Kyle Kuzma wearing as he was walking into the Christmas game? What in the hell was that? My daughter and I got into the whole Star Wars thing, and they got a brand new movie out. I wasn't going to go see it, but she was like, Dad, can we go see it? So now I'm going to go see it with her. And so we did like a Star Wars marathon and watched many of them. I didn't watch all of them. She actually left and spent the night over at a friend's house, and they watched 2 or 3 or 4 of the movies, and she came back and was watching the movies. But like I told her, you know, I grew up with Star Wars. I'm all hip to what goes on. So it's been great, man. We got a chance to spend more time together. The wifey and I as well. I see Andrea's in the house. She writes, good morning. Good to see you. And what's going on, Andrea? Is everything all right? See here. By the way, those who read The Great Gatsby will recognize my screen name as the guy who fixed the World Series. This is not a hobby. I do this for you. We'll shine based on my great grandpa, Arnold Rothstein. Karamia writes, good morning, great people. Thank you for the education there, Maya. I appreciate it. Nate, being afraid and being smart and cautious are 2 different things. I agree. Mike Jones writes, did you see Dr. Claude Anderson's interview on the Breakfast Club? It was we versus me. I did get a chance to see a bit of Dr. Claude Anderson on the Breakfast Club. And, I mean, you know, it's Dr. Claude Anderson. I mean, you know, he gets a lot of respect. Basically, he said that nothing has changed. If you listen to Dr. Claude Anderson, he said nothing has changed and that black people are in the same position they were in before, which I disagree with for a lot of reasons. But I understand his overall point. So maybe he's saying overall, okay. He articulated the we strategy very well. Tracy writes, Nathan, we all were black teens at one time. Some in this generation are just disrespectful and lacks respect for their elders and authority. Again, I bet you that if there was 200 teens, I bet you all 200 were not involved in it. I would bet you there were some teenagers not there to participate in it. Or maybe that's what it was all about. Maybe it was all about going to watch a fight. You know? What does it say about us? Jesse writes, I used to go to the mall at 14 and would go downtown by myself in Boston. Cassandra writes, at most, these kids generate money for the restaurants, but a lot of them ain't working and spending lots of money in real stores. Spending their mama's money. Some of these teens get allowances. My idea is that they need to put in a teen curfew policy. They need to increase the number of security guards they have there. I ain't even just thinking about the teens. I'm thinking about mass shootings as well. But they also need to provide a space for that audience, for that teen audience. They need to provide a space for that teen audience in the mall. So if teens like to come to the mall, let them come to the mall. Do like a damn concert or something there. Do something where the teens can come in and all the teens are there. But, you know, they may feel like it's not worth it. They don't want to deal with it. I don't know. That's what I would do. That's what I would consider We need to stop saying these kids' brains are not even developed. Raise their standards and hold them accountable. But Tracy, their brains are not developed. That's science. That's science. Their brains are not developed. Their brains won't develop until they're like 25, 26. And if that's the average, some people's brains may not even develop until they get to their 30s. I mean, I'm just not going to look at a 14-year-old the way I look at a 24-year-old. They're not the same. If you're 34 and you do something dumb, I'm going to look at you differently than if you're 14. If you're 14, I'm going to look at you, I'm going to look at your record, and I'm going to think, damn, you just did some dumb teenager stuff. That's different. If you're 24, 34 doing what these teenagers did, you're a criminal. You got other issues. Mike Jones writes, I would say your ways is the reason the black dollar does not recycle. Other communities are. We before any other community. Their dollars recycle. It starts with self-love, though. Tony writes, they got Escapades movie theater. The only reason I go in Northgate Mall. Okay, I'm sorry. I said Escapade. It's Escape. Sorry about that. Brother Mazzone writes, we were just there last weekend and it was minimum of teenagers there. Schuler writes, lack of forethought leads to knee-jerk reactions, a chronic illness in Cincinnati. Yes, it is. The knee-jerk reaction city. Tracy writes, there is a way for cops to monitor social media. Ask Cincinnati police. There is an entire department. Okay, there is an entire department. Well, I know they have people that monitor social media. I don't know if it's an entire department. Well, yeah. Drop writes, Nate, the business owners lost money. Okay, you're right. Nate, I still regret my decision, but I have full custody, so I'm good. Mr. Marler writes, it's cheaper to keep her. Drop writes, because of those bad kids, the business owners may have to pay more for security or insurance. Equal higher prices for the shoppers. Well, in the world of mass shootings, they need to have more security at the mall anyway. So that's the way I look at it. It's not just about the teens. It's about anything could happen. It could be a robbery. You know what I'm saying? You could have any kind of issues. Schuler writes, it doesn't take guns or weapons for someone to be injured, possibly fatally. You're right about more parental involvement being needed. These children have obviously not been taught self-control and right judgment. Something is missing. What's missing is that their brains aren't developed. What's missing is that they're 14, 15, and 16. What might be missing is parental involvement, male, mama and dad in the house. You know what I'm saying? Some kids can grow up in a single parent household and be cool. Some kids not having that other parent there, in a lot of cases, dad, has a tremendous effect on their development. I think it has a tremendous effect no matter what, but everybody's different. So I think that's what's missing. Maya writes, keep that same energy, Nathan, for the next Sandra Bowles or Tracy Hunter. Sandra Bland, stay out of law enforcement clutches, and you don't have to worry about cops shooting you or being over adjudicated. Well, for that matter, stay at home. Yeah. Oh, injured like getting pushed through a plate glass window or trampled, asphyxiated by a throng of people. That's never happened. Nathan, you are hilarious. That's Ray. Tracy writes, almost happened to me, Angela, going to a party at CSU. Tracy writes, so Nathan, your son can sneak and go to the mall, but your daughter will never? No. I mean, my daughter could sneak and go to the mall. I feel the same about both of them. I'm just saying that boys are different as they get older. Not that you do anything different per se, but they different. Your standards are the same. Angela writes, no one is walking around scared, but when shit gets chaotic, it's cause for concern. I agree. But ask yourself this, how many people you're at the mall, how many people you would have called the police if you saw 100 black kids running through the mall? You don't get trampled. You don't get robbed. Are you calling the police for that? Maybe so. Brian writes, I don't know about you, Nate. I'm not taking a chance with my family. If we were out and about in that situation, black, white, whatever. Right, like Tracy Hunter knew them folks was racist, but still decided to throw her dick on the table and say, I'm the captain now. Don't be screaming about being framed and all that other bullshit she fussed about. You right, talk show guy. Hey, good morning to you, Jordan. Thank you for the request. I'm going to say this again. Tracy Hunter was elected to do a job. Okay. And then when she tried to do her job, she ran into headwind. And that's the truth. That's what happened. Everything else is BS. Everything else is BS. Drop Rice 2019, Gilligan of the Year, the Desperate Democrat Party, no. Mueller report, tainted FBI whistleblower, no. Fake impeachment, it's not a fake impeachment, it's actually a real impeachment. No collusion, no obstruction. Team light skin, Joe Biden, you got the most biased list that I've ever seen in my life. Damn, who came up with that list? Where the hell did you get that list from? That is crazy. Man. Just think about the advances that we've made this decade. Just take a second and think about, if you can, if you're in a space to do it, and if your brain works this way. But just think about what was going on 10 years ago. Where were you in 2010? What were you doing in 2010? 10 years ago. 2010. What's going on? It seems like a different world. Jackie Jones writes, Dr. Claude Anderson said Obama was a joke. Yeah, but my question for Dr. Claude Anderson is, does he vote? And did he vote in those midterms? You know what I'm saying? Because you can't tell me that you believe in black power economics, but you don't believe in voting. You believe in the power of block economics, but not block voting. Intellectually, that don't make any sense to me. You know, and don't hit me with it's the white man's racist system. Well, so is the capitalist system. So is the system of capitalism in this country. Is biased and is racist, is exploitative. But we always preach and play that game. But you don't want to play the political game set up by the same people that set up the economic system. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Anybody who says that, I challenge how smart they are. Because that don't really make any sense to me. You want us to chat? Oh, yeah. You all about black economics? Black economics? That's a capitalist system that was not set up by us for us, in which we were exploited. But you'll say play that game, but not play a political game. It makes no sense. So I don't know if he actually said that. Maya Wolfstein writes, 10 years ago, I was a teacher in Yuma, Arizona. Really? Claude Anderson is just another John from Princeton, New Jersey. They don't vote, but love to complain. I don't know if Dr. Claude Anderson does not vote or not. I don't know if that's true. I'm just throwing it out there. I watched, about 10 minutes of the video, so I haven't seen all of it, and I don't know if he actually got to that part. But shout out to the Breakfast Club, man, for, exposing, their audience to Dr. Claude Anderson. Again, I think that overall what he says is positive, and it's a very pro-black centered position. So how could you ever have a problem with that? I've never heard him say anything that I thought was destructive. But again, I don't know where his viewpoint is on voting. To me, that would be very important. That'd be very, very important. Because sometimes some of these black scholars come up with the most ridiculous, reasons as they don't vote, like Dr. Umar Johnson. He went on the Breakfast Club. Here we go into 2020. And this black man goes on the Breakfast Club and says that basically he don't vote because he's only going to vote for black candidates that are independent. He won't vote for them if they're Democrat or Republican. And again, okay, great. But think about what that means, like where he probably lives in cities and municipalities around the country. I mean, is that strategy a winning strategy for black people? I don't think so. I think it's some dumb shit that he just came up with that because of who he is, people going to eat it up like it's ice cream and not really critically think about it. Because that didn't make any sense. So I don't know where Dr. Claude Anderson is. I don't know. But I mean, how could you not respect, Powernomics and some of the other things that he gets behind? So Pat writes, 10 years ago, I was still working at UC DAP, not retired yet. Tony writes, 10 years ago, I was caring for my dad during his final stage of Alzheimer's. Passed away on 1/29/11. Oh, man, RIP. Rest in power. Damn, 10 years ago. What were you doing 10 years ago? Answer writes, here's one to ponder. Locally, how much has housing decreased since 2010? 40,000 units. Mason Mahler writes, explains why Claude Anderson is seen as a bit of a joke. Is he? I didn't know that about Claude Anderson. People think he's a joke? Let me tune in here.
See who comes in first, second, or place.
Right.
And so we're gonna, in a race-based society, why is it called a race? Race never started, never existed on the earth until the 1500s. See, and that's when it started. That's where racism comes from. They didn't pick racism just out of thin air.
It's a social construct.
It's a social construct.
Yeah.
It's a social construct. They started, what we're going to do now that Columbus discovered America, you got in 1492, we got a lot of land over there is pretty much vacant, and
boat got a hole in it.
That's right. It's in the bottom of the damn lake.
Yeah.
See, but black folk, if a rising tide would lift all boats. If a rising tide would lift all boats, why isn't all these immigrants coming here and building industries and businesses and blacks were slaves? Why didn't they rise? Because they were excluded. Black people are outside and underneath the system. You're outside and underneath the system. And so they don't let you come together and how they stop you from coming together, since they wouldn't let you coalesce during slavery, they come up with this whole concept called social integration. Social integration is a divisive issue. It divides you. It doesn't pull you together. It's a weakening process. You understand what I'm saying, bro?
Mm-hmm.
It weakens you. If I put a cup of coffee right now in front of you and pour cream in it, do I make it stronger?
Hell no, you make it weaker.
That's right. So black folk went for social integration.
I've always asked, has integration helped to harm the black community? I think it harmed.
Knocked the black folks' brains out. Black folk had up 100 times more before social integration hit. See, I'm old enough to tell you all that. You're all not old enough to know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, see, we had something. We didn't have the resources we needed as much as we needed, but we had something. We had one of the things that's key to get to your question about where do we start. We had communities. We had communities all over America. In every city had a major community. Here, Harlem, places like that. We had our communities. We didn't have everything we wanted, but it was ours.
Yeah, we only hear about Black Wall Street. Sometimes you hear about Bronzeville in Chicago. I can't remember the town in North Carolina, but we don't hear about that they were.
Does Cincinnati does Dr. Claude Anderson have a point there? Does Cincinnati, when you think of community here in Cincinnati, like the black community, what do you think of? Do we have a community here in the city? If so, what's the epicenter of the black community here in the city of Cincinnati? Something to consider.
Social integration. You know why? Because we had our own businesses there. We had our own businesses. My family was part of one that had the only black bus line in the entire United States. The only black bus line. And when I say we had a bus line, I'm not talking about 2 or 3 buses. We had over 500 buses.
Wow.
In Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And guess what? We had that from 1927 up to about 1967. In Winston-Salem, we also had our own cab companies. We had our own restaurants. We had our own hotels. We had our own school systems. And the bus lines, an example, we know what killed our buses?
What?
Social integration. when all of a sudden you all start talking about Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King going down to Alabama, want to integrate the bus lines. Integrate whose bus lines? White bus lines. What they want? They didn't want to own and control and get the resource. They just want to sit on the front of it.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of, you tell me, what does that indicate? Now, if you want to get on a bus and what you want to do is just want to sit on the front of it. Now, if the bus is moving, then the back of the bus will be where the front of the bus will move in a fraction of a second. And everybody gets off at the same time. And so in Winston-Salem, we had a...
Wake that ass up. Okay, sorry about that. I was playing a little bit of Dr. Claude Anderson's conversation with the Breakfast Club. You know, I think that all media is connected. You know what I'm saying? And especially all
wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ
yes,
NV.
It is. Yes, we heard that.
What with us? Resources. Mm-hmm. We'll take all the industries, the factories, the automobile dealerships, the banks, the culture, the money, the wealth, the power, and relocate it in the suburbs. And we'll strip these urban areas. So these black folk, they come in, they can't run an urban city. You can't run Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Philadelphia. You can't run it because you won't be in the resources available to you. And so when the white folks say, you all were smart enough to run a city, that's y'all just let the city run down. No, they ran it down for you. They use a policy called burnt fields, scorched earth policy. Saying we leave here, we're taking everything out.
And the only resources that they'll have is the drugs that we put here.
That's right.
The guns that we put here.
That's right.
Yeah, so they'll have to resort to crime and violence to survive.
You're a smart man again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. The hell? Let me take it to the banks, Daryl. Watch what happens. Maya Wolstein, Angela writes, remember what happened before on the banks at Tracy? Wasn't a holiday weekend? Maya writes, the Gilligan of the year is the old Nigwa who got Tatiana Jefferson killed because he lacked the foresight to put another black person in the clutches of police, knowing what would be the worst possible season. Know what you're getting into. No, I mean, that might be yours, but how are you going to blame the Good Samaritan over the police officer who overreacted and shot this woman? To me, that makes no sense. You lost me on that one, bro. Mesa Marler writes, 98% of black voters who identify as Democrat and 72% of those who identify as independent said they would back whoever ultimately becomes the Democratic nominee over Trump. Black voters are considered a key voting bloc with the Democrats. Maya writes, the North College Hill case, the tailor-made case for Tracy Hunter that she totally effed up. Funny how the old guy was saying this for years, and now that the disgraced judiciary's been convicted, people finally realize she effed herself. Really? Is that what you took from that? Jesse writes, I agree with everything Tracy said. Mason Muller writes, where Herman Cain and Ben Carson? Angela writes, we cannot always just be defensive or reactionary to the reality of what these situations say. Maya writes, Dillingham was right. Brother Mazzone writes, the app Life 360. If your kids have a cell phone, download that app. I love it. You will know where your kids are all the time. We already got it, bruh. We already got it. Got to keep a hand on these kids. Why does the Republican Party convention look like a Klan rally of very fine people? And the Democrat convention looks like America with all the diversity. I'll wait. No sellout. Drop writes, Ozzie Davis removed himself point blank. See, there you go. You're going to hate on Ozzie Davis now? Yeah, I mentioned Ozzie because I know that hold on here. I'm with you on that. What? What? Okay, I'm going to check that out, C. Smith. I know I moved on and didn't complete my thought. Interesting. Okay, this is great. I'm going to put this in the group right here. I'm sorry, Choppers. I know I'm not completing my thoughts. Hold on. I'm posting something that you might find interesting. 15 scholarships to which students can apply during winter break from the Voice of Black Cincinnati. I just posted that inside the Friends page. You could please check it out there if you know somebody who might be interested. And at 14, we right there. We are right there. Okay. It's good to see Kelly Prather out. Beautiful. That's good to see. I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling on Facebook. You know, it's a Friday. It's 21st century time. See, Maya writes, Glenn, in 2020, I'm going to call you by your name, not Lenny, Linford, or Mason Squalor, provided you leave the Black Republican issue in 2019 and refocus energy on tangibles for the community. Miss Tiffany writes, get lit was the key, that it was going to be some problems. How in the heck do you get lit in the mall? You're right. That was a key. Brother Mazzone writes, the food court in Northgate is a wasteland. I think it's maybe 2 to 3 restaurants in there. Really? So basically it's just a big open space. No wonder they were down there. No wonder. You know, somebody should open up a club, a teen club. That's probably, is that a profitable business? Maya writes, Nathan blocks for unruly, unacceptable conduct by black people better than the black offensive blocks for Joe Mixon. This has been his history. He blocked for the guy in Sedansville who shot an errant shot at his daughter's sleepover and killed his daughter. He blocked for a couple in Avondale whose dad had a gun that allegedly went off and hit the baby in the stomach. Sometimes Nathan becomes insufferable. Well, that's because, and I'm very proud about this, I don't think the way everybody in Cincinnati think. I don't sound the same way and think the same way a lot of these other talking heads have. That's always been part of my charm. You know, I don't look at it the same way. So like I told you, when everybody was piling on that brother, we got enough voices that pile on when it comes to what's happening in the black community in a negative way. We got enough of that. I'm not here for that. Okay, so when I like to bring a little bit more heart to the situation, the man did not mean to kill his daughter. It was a mistake. And as I said then, I believe today that nobody feels more sorrow and pain than that man does. He mistakenly shot his baby girl. He's never going to get over that. He's in a prison already. But, you know, when a black man makes a mistake, everybody wants to pile on. And a lot of black people will use those situations to absolve themselves of things that they did by coming out on the virtuous side, or so they think, the virtuous side to some of these issues we talk about. I don't need to do that. You know, I ain't trying to make myself feel good because I'm going to pile on because this brother made a mistake and killed his daughter. That's not why I'm doing this. Okay. I'm trying to keep it real, and there's always a lot of ways of looking at these situations, rather than people just want to overreact and have a knee-jerk reaction as we do, especially when it comes to images of black folks, African Americans, non-white people. We'll knee-jerk overreact in that situation all the time. Okay, so I don't need to do that. You'll get enough of that later on other shows. Matter of fact, it's 10:44. Damn. I'm just me having a good time. I mean, you know, we went on yesterday and Christmas. As I said, I love being with you every single morning. Get lit, bitch. That's right. That's all you got to do is put get lit, bitch on a flyer. Teenagers are gonna show up. So if that's the case, some smart, enterprising person should devise a way to make money off of it and also create a safe space for kids to do what they want to do. They want to hang up and they want to hang out and hook up. That's what they want to do. They want to kiss and grind and have intercourse. That's what they want to do. Just like we want to do when we would have boyfriends and all that kind of shit. That's what they want to do with Lizzo in the background. That's what they want to do. We're going to get lit at the next Chopper event. Well, hopefully we'll get lit in like a grown folks kind of way. Maybe everybody get a little buzz or something if you're into buzzing. but not get lit the way the teenagers did. We don't want to do that. Now Obama has been the most admired man in the last 10 years in a row. Mason Marler writes, Angela's cracking up at Tracy. Mason Marler writes, I remember childproofing the house for my daughter. Once my son got there, I knew what to expect and let him go ham. Same thing happened with us. You know, with our first child together, man, we were like super sensitive on everything. The Virgo in me came all the way out to make sure that she had a pristine environment. And I do the same thing with my son, but it's not the same. It's like, okay. He got a little dirt in his mouth. Oh, he'll be all right. Well, little Buddha's like, oh my God. I just, how it is with your first kid. We didn't know. You don't know what to do with these little people when they come into the world. Tracy writes, he didn't have to say nothing. He just need to go work and stack his cheese. If he saw it on social media, all the rest of the kids did too. Hilarious comments. Not relevant, drop, and don't end 2019 with a kiss, please. Yeah. That was one of the funniest moments of the show all year. And it just happened like 3 weeks ago when Drop got off the air and blew me a kiss. He just got all into his flow. And I talked with the wifey afterwards. She happened to hear it. And she was like, oh, no, he meant it like, like in like a male relative kind of way. Because I have men that I love. There's men in my life. I love my grandfather. I love my father. I love my uncle. My brothers. So I know what it's like to love another man as a relative, the love of a brother, which is very strong, or the love you have toward an uncle or a father. So I get it. And that's how Drop meant it. But it was hilarious though. He tried to deny it at first. It was hilarious. Let me see. Teen clubs overhead cost is high. Hiring police protection, security guard, metal detectors, too much of a headache and too much drama to deal with. But that's why I say, these malls need to get inventive, man. They could get inventive with their stuff. If you got teenagers that are looking for a place to do, come up with like a teen time or some kind of teen spot. You can even charge them. You can even charge them to get into the mall, which is free, right? Create some kind of teen event inside the mall where the teens can come and listen to music. That's all the fuck they really want to do, and stand around on their phones and text each other while they're standing right next to one another. I mean, just like the shit we do. Like, be honest with me here. How many people had their phones on over the holiday, if the holiday meant anything to you? Let's go back to Thanksgiving. A lot of people, you got to have for an hour, no phones. If not, the phones are going to be out. Like watching a game with the family on Thanksgiving is not like it used to be. Because when you were a kid, there was only one TV screen in the entire room. Now, everybody got TV screens. You might be having TV on. You might be on Facebook. You might be watching a video, listening to music, checking your emails, all at the same time. D Wizzle writes, what Drop 52 blowing holiday kisses to dudes? Yeah. Oh, you didn't hear that, D Wizzle? Yeah, man. Tony writes, dang, Nate, my little man walked right past when you said get lit, bitch, and turn around. I got the volume down. LOL. Man, I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry, because that's right. Little dude's going to be at home because maybe, school is closed or whatever. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Damn, he said he turned right back around, huh? That is hilarious. See. How fitting a commentary the mall melee occurred on the first day of Kwanzaa, whose daily principle was Umoja, which is unity. Yeah, but how many of those teenagers knew about that? You know what I'm saying? And maybe what they do, maybe it's a Kwanzaa thing or something like that. where the teenagers have to pay to get in, and, you know, maybe that process means you get some kind of identification on them and you had a police there or something like that. Anza writes, did we discuss Portun's recommendation for his replacement? Well, you know what? No, we have not discussed that, as a matter of fact. I mean, I reported it when it happened, but we didn't really discuss it. Yeah, Todd Portun, white male Democrat, is stepping down from Hamilton County Commission. There's 3 Hamilton County commissioners. As we speak right now, they're all Democrats, one of which is a black female. And Todd Portun is stepping down because he's dealing with some health issues. I wish him the best in that endeavor. I'm with you on that. Who posted that, Pat? Thank you for the post. Yeah, Cat, you know, Pat is keeping us cultured inside the Friends page on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It's a closed group. And many of the folks there check out the show on a daily basis, on a regular basis. And it's a great place to post. I go there daily just to see what other people are posting, to get a sense of what we might talk about on the show. And it is a daily source and an inspiration for conversation. Hey, listen, if you haven't already seen, there's a clip going around right now from the Is It Just Me podcast, okay? And it's a clip of Donnie B's conversation with Joe Gilbert. If you haven't already seen that, please check that out. It's up in the Is It Just Me podcast group and also on Sin Digital Media. It's on my page. It's in the Friends page. I'll post it again. And please share that. Please share that. Appreciate it in advance. Yeah, so Todd Portun has decided that, well, he's announced the person that he wants to replace him. And as I understand, it's a black female, right? She was like his chief of staff. I believe it was. She was his chief of staff. And I think that means that she would just serve out his term. I think that's what that means. I don't know if she would run. Her name is Victoria Parks. And I seen somebody posted that inside the Friends page some time ago. Who is Victoria Parks? And it paves the way for an all-woman county commission, at least for a few weeks, right? A few months, maybe? Because if that happens, Denise Driehaus, who is a white female Democrat, is currently on the commission, along with Stephanie Dumas, who you don't really hear a lot from, who is a black female Democrat. And if Victoria Parks is put in his place, that will mean that all of the commissioners will be female, which will be interesting. And I think I want to say, hold on here. I want to say that I have met Victoria Parks before. I just can't really say it. I can't remember where that was. I think that is quite interesting. What do you think? I don't know a lot about our politics. Brother Mazone writes, Biden is no longer the front runner. It is Bernie. Is that right? Yeah, Biden didn't do too well in the debates, a lot of people said, so looks like it's going to have an impact. Let me see here. And there was also some conversation about Pillage, Prather, and Reese. So Pillage, Prather, and Reese, those are the 3 individuals who are running for Hamilton County Commissioner. And the election is coming up within the next, 4 months, 3 months, March, I think it is. Or at least that'll be the primary anyway. And then later in the year, you have the general. Let me see here. Todd is highly respected by everyone. Parks' potential tenure could be short-lived. She might step down after the March 17 primary, so the party could appoint whomever wins the nomination. Okay? So that'll be quite interesting. Yeah, that's probably what she'll do. I mean, why would she rock the boat and do anything else, right? I don't know. Seems pretty cut and dry, at least on that one. We'll have to wait and see. Are you friends with the guy who was ran over by the two cars? Am I friends with the guy who was ran over by two cars? Let me look it up. I didn't look at the story, to be honest with you, so I don't know. Hopefully not. Is the man dead? Yeah, share a link with me. I don't know the story. Parks politics equals Portoon's politics. Okay, well, that would make sense. That's why he would appoint her. So essentially, he would appoint her, and then after the March primary, whoever the winner is would probably be appointed to serve the rest of the year, right, through Todd Portoon. So what that means is, well, I mean, the story is not. There's going to be a female there anyway. You know, Parks is going to be the first, but they're all female challengers for Todd Portoon's seat. So sometime in 2020, you're going to have an all-female Hamilton County Commission. They're all going to be female, even if it's for a short time until the general election in November. But for some time, for many, many months, actually, say from, let's say, March to November, however many months that is, it's going to be all females on the Hamilton County Commission. The only question is whether it's going to be a majority black females on the Hamilton County Commission. Because if Pillage wins, it'll be majority white females. So Connie Pillage would join Denise Driehaus, 2 white females, only got 3 commissioners. Oh my God, these Republicans are going to have a fit. And can you imagine if a black female wins the primary, which there's a strong possibility could be. You got 2 black females, Kelly Prather and Elisa Reese. And you can have 2 black females in Hamilton County, right, as Hamilton County commissioners. Think about that. Pat writes, that was for fame, Nate. Okay. Nate, are you still having a best of 2019 show of calls? Actually, a show of calls. That would be interesting. Huh. Let me see. Parks is only going to serve until the primary. Whoever wins primary will take Parks' place on commission so that person can run in general election as incumbent. I'm just saying that, but as I understand it, you are correct. Then wham, she out of here. My 2 cents, they want another black face in there to be disgusted with in this time of tax increases and budget decisions. Mason Mahler writes, get lit Kwanzaa event. Right. Now, that's the kind of Kwanzaa event that kids will go to. A get lit Kwanzaa. Get lit Kwanzaa. I like it. Get a little culture, and you can get some Lizzo at the same time. Yeah, it's a Lizzo world. I was listening to Dr. Boyce, man. He was going super hard about Lizzo and how they are promoting her because that's the kind of person that they. And I'm like, man, yes and no. What people got to understand is that there's malt liquor is always going to be sold to human beings. How many people drink malt liquor? Have you ever drank malt liquor? Okay. Malt liquor, the stuff they grab from the bottom, turn it into something that people want to consume. It's the same thing with our culture. You're always going to have the malt liquor of our culture. If you want to call that ratchetness or sex sells. We're always this culture is always going to be about sex and drugs. It's always going to be that way. And we need to stop lying to ourselves, acting like we're more civilized than we really are. Sex sells in America. It's always going to be that way. You get a pretty girl rapping or singing about sex, about giving it up, about backing it up, you put a nice beat to it, it's always going to be an audience for that. We need to stop resisting that. It's just like Ratchet TV. How many people like Ratchet TV and don't lie? Okay. For as many people say, I never watch it, there are just as many people, in fact, 3 or 4 times as many people who aren't going to give it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything else. It's like cheap hot dogs. It's always going to be a market for somebody to buy a cheap hot dog off the street. It don't matter. You got all these options, but there's always people that's going to gravitate to that. And it's just like everything else. People get all upset. I mean, people said the same thing about Tina Turner when she was shaking it up. Oh, look at her shaking her hips like that. That music. What you doing this rock and roll? What the hell? This devil music. They said the same thing about Ray Charles. They said Ray Charles was devil music. Ray Charles! Because he was singing about sex. He was challenging conventional norms. So people got to stop overreacting. If you don't like it, don't buy it. That's the culture we live in. If you don't like Lizzo, don't buy it. Don't listen to her. If you do, buy it. Listen to it. Simple as that. Nate, thank you. I thought it was a great idea. St. Ives was the last time I drunk malt liquor, and that was a long time ago. Anza writes, oh yeah, Fair Cincy is regrouping because they didn't get enough signatures to get on the March ballot. Is that right? Going to their website right now. Yeah, I'm trying to get Pastor Leslie on the show. She's going to come on again and just give us an update. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I like the fact that it was outside the box thinking. Now, I can't tell you that I've run the numbers and even know how to analyze such a thing. Okay, I'm on their website right now. Okay, their website has changed a little bit since the last time I was here, just a little bit. See here. There will always be at least one member of the council ensuring your neighborhood gets a fair share of resources such as parks, community centers, public safety, human services, pedestrian improvements, and road maintenance. A yes vote means you will finally have a council member advocating for the specific needs of your community. Like I said, I mean, you know, if you go to community councils, the number one thing that I get, because I've talked with a couple of council members, you know, community council presidents here or there, and I've attended a few meetings here or there. But the number one issue with the community council is that they don't have no real power and sway over city council members. They don't have no sway. Like Avondale Community Council could come up with whatever they want to. City council don't have to do it. But if you had somebody specifically, or maybe somebody's, 2 persons that were elected from Avondale or in an area that included Avondale, theoretically, those persons will be running 1,000 miles an hour to promote Avondale. Okay. Rather than just looking at the whole of the city, you would be really like if I was in a situation like that and I'm representing Avondale, then I'm down there representing Avondale. I'm trying to get resources to Avondale. Would that kind of competition be good or bad for the overall development of Cincinnati and then for the overall development of Black Cincinnati? That's the question. Oh, okay. Thank you for the tweets, Angela. We initially intended to collect enough signatures to place the council district's initiatives on the March 2020 ballot, needing 6,400 valid signatures by mid-December. We currently have 7,400 signatures, but after checking validity, we think only about 4,000 are valid. Let's see here. I'm on their Fair Cincy's page. Okay, I'm gonna follow them. I wasn't following them beforehand, but I'm following them now. Okay, so I'm looking at it. Therefore, we will now work to get it on the November ballot. All of the signatures we have collected so far are usable, so we don't have to start from scratch. We will regroup after the new year and plan to get the remaining 2,000 signatures by the mid-July deadline. Okay, I mean, I think they'll probably get that, 2,000 signatures. So let's say they collect another 5,000 signatures just to be safe. I think they'll get there. I see Henry Frondorf. I know Henry Frondorf, he seems like a good guy. When I talk to Henry Frondorf, he seems like a good guy. He got a funny look to him, though. He seems like a very, very smart, intelligent guy. Family man. Let me see. Okay, I'm on their page right now. And Tammy Sullivan. This is very interesting because you have Pastor Leslie Jones, who we know ran as a Democrat for city council, sister. You got Tammy Sullivan, white female, but she's a non-black person. I'm not sure what her ethnicity is, or I'm not presuming to, but she's non-black and she's a Republican. You got Henry Frondorf, who I'm not sure if he's a Democrat or not. I don't know if he got the endorsement or not last time. I just can't remember. I don't believe he did, but he ran for city council. It looks like he's going to be running again, I would say. I don't know. Just from the outside looking in. And they all came together to do Fair Cincy. And I thought that was a great, great idea. Changing the way Cincinnatians elect their council from 9 at large to 5 districts and 4 at large. And they've got 63 followers right now. I love what they're doing. Yes. Why not? All right. Back to your chat here. Listen, I got to make a move. It's almost 3 hours. It's the day after Christmas, the last Friday. I got things to do. So one thing I can tell you 100% is I plan on continuing the Nathan Ivey show as we get into 2020 and throughout 2020. That is my plan. I plan to get with you at the same schedule. I can plan to continue and expand, what we're doing with Sin Digital Media, providing new voices, a platform for, voices that perhaps would not have a platform. I think especially, what I like about the digital space is the freedom, free of the constraints of FEC or FCC, not FEC, but FCC regulations, and just more of an ownership into the creative process. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the digital wave is still going on. It's like a tsunami. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of ways, this is exactly where the show should be. And I like that. And I love getting with you every single day. So I just plan to tweak. I plan to do more videos of the Nathan Ivey show, live streaming the show onto YouTube. I plan to fully commit to YouTube. I'm mulling over whether I want to switch the show from an audio format to just YouTube and drop Spreaker. But Spreaker it affords me a lot of functionality that works for me. So it's just something I'm thinking about. But I plan to more fully invest in like daily videos for the Nathan Ivey show in 2020, and just to expand the portfolio and the different types of shows and podcasts that I'm doing over with Sin Digital Media. So that's what a little blurb of it is. There's more to it. I plan to get political in 2020 and 2021, and you'll be the first to hear about that. But just to give you some updates, what's going on, just a little bit. Now, I do plan on being with you on Monday. Okay. And I'm looking forward to it because those will be the last days of the year, Monday and Tuesday. Okay. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I want to focus on like the biggest stories of the year. I want to do less current events. Like today, my plan was to talk about the local stuff, but to get into more of like some of the biggest stories of the year. I did less of that. I spent more time talking about the local story coming from Northgate Mall for good reasons. It's a local story. It's a lot of relevant issues relevant to the audience. But what that means is I still want to talk about some of the biggest stories from my perspective, stories that we talked about, some of the interviews we had. Drop just gave me a great idea. Perhaps I can go back and sort of piece together some of the great calls from 2018. That would be a lot of fun. I'm sorry, from 2019. You know, as we get ready, are you going to a party for the New Year's Eve? Are you a New Year's Eve kind of person? You staying home? What are you doing? Let your boy know. You never know. I'll be out and about. And you never know. Mason Marlowe writes, come on, Nate, you're not supposed to know the facts. I think it goes back to my conversation talking about drop. Ray writes, 2019 Gilligans of the year is those that disrespect black women. Is that right? I agree with you. Black Russia writes, Kawhi greater than LeBron. Well, he should be. He should be because he's 7 years younger. A 35-year-old in the best shape of their life is a lot different than a 28-year-old or a 27-year-old. There's a lot difference there. It's just mileage. And now, and it's also your ability to recover. So we'll see. It's going to be fun, man. Like I said, I'm not really super invested in the sports stuff like that. To me, it's entertainment. I love the game of b-ball. I like to keep up on it. But whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm not invested in any particular end. I'm just in it for the journey. So I'm going to enjoy this year in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Weinstein and Spacey aren't receiving the Cosby Kelly treatment. The Cosby Kelly treatment. Is that what we calling it now? Hey, listen, have an excellent day. I'll be back with you bright and early on Monday morning. We'll chop it up, 8 a.m., Have an excellent weekend. It's the last weekend of the calendar year 2019. And, you know, I might pop up on your Facebook page. You never know. I've been trying out some new video elements, and I might post, you never know, over the weekend, later today. You never know. So keep your eyes on the stream. If you want to connect with me directly, you can do so by sending me a direct message. You can also hit me up. My contact information is on my website, nathaniv.com. Thank you for being here. Have an excellent Friday. Make it your day, and we'll talk real soon.
You see, stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on two separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on two separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.